I've got a big box. Oh yeah, because you've got your gimbal of glad goodness, haven't you? Yeah, he is a gimbal. Welcome, folks. It's Warhammer Sunday. Sunday with a warhammer. Not a club hammer, a warhammer. Bolt bin. Pain. It's for peening over the end of things, you know, peening, you know, shaping. Yeah, you give it a tappity tap and it peens the edge over. Forms like a mushroom, you know. I am a mushroom. I like being a mushroom. Yeah, eagle bells. And destroy them techniques. Very kind of you to do so as well, dear. Oh, it's got to be better than that tosh that you tried making and selling us tea. Yeah. That was so bad. Oh, well. Yeah. Do you want me to stop? I like peas. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And oh, really? Is that Fox got no sound or me? Or is it both? I'll just...
Is that better?
Yeah, is it both? Yeah, is it both of us? Let us know, folks.
I don't know because
I was literally just about to say is audio and video okay? I'm showing 100% here.
No, it's fine. It's back now. There we go. We got a super chat out of it then. Right, apologies everyone. Let's start again.
Yeah. He's a spud, isn't he?
Let's start again.
Festa. Oh, right. Poor you.
I hope we are back. Hopefully. I saw that.
Oh,
I saw
that was funny. Darren Edmonds comment of the day, mate.
I saw
Love
that,
it.
Edmonds. It's been noted.
Yeah, Goombay Dance Band, go and have a listen.
I blame my streaming software for being an arse and not selecting the correct microphone. God damn it! I also blame you guys for not telling us straight away and waiting 5 minutes so we got through
Yeah,
all
but I
pre-roll.
was just about to do a How's Audio and Video, folks, and it was like,
Yes, gosh darn it. Well, we got Andy McLeish did a £2 super chat to get that point across to us, so thank you very much, Andy.
absolutely. It's the only way he knew you would see it,
know.
because, you know.
You do realise that means I have to make sure the microphone's not working next time as well. Anyway, yes, welcome one and all. I need to tweak some settings on my streaming software later. Welcome one and all. It is Warhammer Sunday times. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We'll start again. That time of the week when Festa and I crack on with some painty-buildy. And as we said, we're doing the chipping on the Leman Russ, which I'm teaching him how I do it, not because I'm good, but because he wants to learn how different people do different things. And that's all part of the process.
Absolutely,
So
mate.
we are going to be doing that. So, yeah, so welcome one and all. Before we get going, quick shout-outs to all the important folks out there. First of all, emodels.co.uk, my channel sponsors, who sponsor this channel, funnily enough. Link in the description below the video for emodels.co.uk, your one-stop shop for all your model making needs, every single one of them. And of course my patrons and channel members who make all my content possible. They literally pay my wages and put food on my table, so big thank you to them. If you want to support the channel and keep it alive, help keep it alive, you can go to patreon.com/modelmakingguru. The address is down there somewhere at the bottom of the screen, or you can press the join button underneath any of my videos and become a channel member. Either way, you're keeping the channel alive, you're helping me do this, continue doing this for my living, so big thank you to all of you. And of course you can support Festa's channel as well, patreon.com/Festa67workshop, or you can press join under his content. Festa, my dear partner on this stream, how are you, my friend?
Well, funny you should say that, oh dear. I'm fine and dandy, mate. How's yourself?
I'm not too bad. A little bit sweaty now. I've just been pressing some buttons last
you're
minute.
you're not the only one who's had streaming issues today. I heard a big old racket over the way there, thinking it was a bomb going off, but it was the engineers cutting the thing off the front of the box because people have broken into the box again. And so.
Chavs.
But anyway,
Chavs, all of them.
hopefully I'm here for the duration. But yeah, intermittent broadband's in the area, folks, because the yobbos have been nicking all the boards out of the cabinets again and the engineers' tools, because that's what they do.
Yeah, if he does fall out permanently, I'll just crack on with the stomper. There you go.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Clear my throat. I do apologise. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. A little setting on my streaming software that wasn't working. It keeps doing that. There's no way to know for sure until you go live. So yeah.
See, I'm lucky. I desoldered all my webcam mics and that, but yeah.
Well, it lists the device that it's using as the mic, but I don't actually know what it doesn't correspond to any of my devices, so I don't actually know what it thinks.
It's giving you a random,
long string of letters and numbers. It's like,
yeah, that's really useful, that, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks for that. So I've only got my Yeti microphone active, so there you go. Anyway, inside baseball, never mind. So yes, we will be cracking on with our Leman Russ tanks today.
Yes.
I need to clear my throat 1 second. Unaccustomed to public speaking, as I am. Ladies and gentlemen, lords and ladies. Anyway,
That really helped, did it? You clearing your throat, muted, and I'm just going.
Yeah, that's what I imagine Gary sounds like.
Yeah,
Like.
bottle, glass bottle. Gary Hughes.
You getting out of bed?
Walkies. Walk. All right, love. Sausages.
Gary was his dog. He was very lazy.
Yeah, it's the ultimate in lazy bulldogs. I had to buy it a treadmill because it refused to go out to walk, and it would sit on it and just plop off the end and look at me and go, all right.
Dog
yeah. So what do I do now?
Yeah, what happens now? So let's have a quick look and see who's in chat, and then we'll crack on with something special to start with. We have the first person in chat was, as far as I can tell, Andy McLeish, who says goodly after blow-ups, every bubble.
Hello, Andy.
Space Hamster ZH is in, not seen you for a while. Welcome, Space Hamster. Jeff Light and Neon Scar are both in and say hello. Welcome to both of you. We've already got some bench and belly, so I'll let you ask the question first, and then I'll read them out.
Yes, folks. What's in your belly? What's on your bench? What is your beverage of choice?
Yes. We have some answers already. How good are they? They've already answered you.
Oh, they're on the ball, aren't they? Anyone would think we'd forgotten to ask.
Yeah, I know. Space Hamsters at H says, Model Making Guru, is this your music? No, it's it's not public domain, but it's music I found. Oh, excuse me. It's music I found that's not attributable. You don't have to give credit for it, so I'll have that. Thank you very much. Like library music stuff. Andy McLeish says, in the belly, I have a plate of Korean barbecue gyoza, 2 cups of coffee, and 2 Tunnocks caramel wafers. Oh, Tunnocks. If it's not Tunnocks, it's not food. If it's Tunnocks, it's the best food ever. Tunnocks tea cakes. Oh,
happy days.
Oh, Tunnocks tea cakes. Good God. Bench is to be assembled in a new place, working out the dimensions and how it's going to work. Make sure you keep space for a 6x3 gaming table as well.
Yeah.
He also says dinner-ons will be beef burgers and mini hash browns. I forgot to add that. And then he says, "Sound, you Burke." Yeah, the problem actually is that I have the streaming software in performance mode, which means it turns off all the meters and things to reduce the load on the system. But when you do that, you can't see if anything's working. So yeah.
That's the downside, and you don't get your sound meters or anything.
Yeah. So we'll have to just not do that for a while. We got any more bench and bellies? I can't remember. Do we have anything? I prefer the term battle mallet to myself, says Space Hamster, as opposed to ball peen hammer.
Yeah. Sounds right.
Space Hamster says that's what I get for showing up early for once. After Darren Edmonds' scandalous comment.
Comment of the week. Comment of the week. Boom, 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 boom. Comment of the week.
Jeff, who else we got? I'm supposed to be telling St. who's in, haven't I?
You are.
We have Candy Guy from One Goes In, Jeff. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe.
Good Carl Sagan there.
Yeah. There's a very good reason that Colin's going all Dave under the microphone, but we'll see that in a minute.
Yeah, I'm just having to move around to clear some space.
I know, it's important. It's important, though, isn't it?
Look at me.
I know. Edward Leonard's in.
Squishy hugs.
Squishy alert. Squishy hugs to you, Edward. As we know, Darren Edmonds is in with this heretical little comment. Curse you. Ghost Lyle is in and says, hi, everyone, but doesn't say pineapple at all, which is kind of unusual.
Hello, buddy.
Paul Lewis says, belly roast chicken. Hello, Paul. Paul's in. Says, belly roast chicken dinner in a couple of hours. Bench 124th for Jimmy BMW M635 CSI beverage beer. And then
good shout.
Andy McLeish says pineapple for Ghost Lyle because Ghost Lyle's slacking today. He didn't say pineapple.
Yeah, but he's allowed to. It's probably because you had sound issues and he thought, you're not going to... Yeah,
that's true. He may have been thrown off a little bit by that.
Yeah, perhaps he had keyboard issues. One never knows.
It's because he hasn't got... If you haven't got a loud keyboard that's like a proper... clacky keyboard, IBM Series M like mine, then and it's not a good keyboard, and that's why you have problems.
Yeah, because in Fox's world, no other keyboard matters.
No other keyboard does matter. Why would you want... When you can have... Why
yeah, but you just like making noise, don't you? Come on, be honest.
You want the proper scissor springs with the...
You know, you had the playing cards on the spokes of your bike, didn't you, so people could hear you coming along the road.
Because I couldn't afford an actual motorbike, so, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 30.
What he's not telling you is, he had the full levers on at the time.
I was 32, but, you know. When I turned up at work, they'd be like, really? On a chopper? What? I said, yeah. It's a bit small, I know.
Really? No, wrong with that. Did you have tassels on the handlebars?
No, only on a Saturday night. Now, before we get going with the Leman Russ, I need to take a back seat for a minute and shut up. And I know you're going to have to. It's a shock, I know, but you'll be fine. You'll cope with it, folks. Don't worry. I'll be going away for a minute, but you'll survive.
Oh, are you still all excited, Bobs, because I've had a parcel arrive? Is that what you're saying?
Somebody's had a parcel, and somebody's about to go full screen and have a bit of a trouser tent moment. So
yeah.
I hassled him to show you today. So you can see what he's got. So I'm going to put him full screen, and
that's probably why he forgot his audio, because before we went live, it's you got to show it, you got to get it out there.
Get excited. Darren Edmonds says bench no model, still working on my Ural belly roast pork, roast potatoes and veg beverage, slumming it with a lager.
Jeff Light says belly awaiting a roast chicken dinner with all the trimmings, bench, battle walker, beverage, currently a nice mug of tea. Which brand?
Yep, and Ghost Lyle does say, almost forgot Fox, pineapple. Right.
there you
I shall
go.
put Colin full screen. Scream? No, screen. Full screen.
Screen?
Prepare your trouser tent moment. Are you ready?
Yeah. Look.
Colin's got a big box.
I've got a big box.
I
Let's try
like
and get
big
that all
box
in.
and I cannot lie.
Do you want to see me open my flat? This is just for Fox. I'm going to tease you. Did you see that? Yes, folks.
Eagle feeling.
One of my growl kits that has been on my growl list. I managed to get on a super duper lightning deal and couldn't resist it. And when I pinged Fox and told him the price I got that for, he wanted to have my babies, didn't he, mate?
Yeah. Because babies got that at like half price. It's like, oh.
Yeah. It's still in the polythene, but look. Oh.
Yeah. I've enjoyed
Yeah.
making many kits, but I've never 100% enjoyed every moment of a build other than that eagle.
Yeah.
And
there is a deluxe accessories set of turned aluminium engine bells and landing gear struts. So
you get that.
there may be additional bits and bobs to go in it.
That makes up for the decals, then, doesn't it? If you got that.
That's I think an additional set. I do
I thought you
believe.
meant that was included. Oh right.
Yeah,
cool.
it's an accessory set. But I'm going to be printing me Aztec decals for it. So yeah, for the deal I got that for, more than happy.
Oh god, yeah.
So are you happy now, Fox? Look.
I may not be able to stand up for a while. If anybody out there has never built that Eagle kit, either that or the limited edition one, whichever one you get, the 22-incher, it's just the best kit ever built.
Yeah.
Plus, it's Space 1999. It's the best sci-fi spaceship ever.
22 inches of Eagle goodness there, Fox.
Hashtag Eagle.
Do you feel better now?
I'm going to have to put it in chat. I'm going to have to do some finger typing. Hang on. It's got to be done. Shit, how do you do a hashtag on an Apple keyboard? Oh, crap, I can't remember.
Option F3, isn't it?
That's it. Bloody stupid. We always the hashtag on the 3 key. Come on, that's just nonsense. Bloody Americans.
Something like that, or is it Option Shift 3?
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's option 3 because they've got the hash sound sign on the 3 key rather than on the quotation mark key because silly Americans. Yes, if you've never built the Eagle, 22-inch Eagle, you have to get the 22. What is that yellow thing? What is that?
That's me glue holder.
No,
that's me pot holder.
On the left. Tell me, what is this yellow thing on the left I can see? The thing with legs and that, yes.
Oh, that. Yeah, that's what Steve built, wasn't it? Do you remember when I got the Warlick?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he sent me that as well. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I've got a few little bits and bobs that he added in with the Warlick box. Yeah, so I thought I'd start painting them as well because they're all going to sit with a Warlick, see, as a set.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that.
So I thought I'll slap it on a Warhammer base because I had some spares, and
Awesome.
and it does all the turnies.
You've got rotating parts to please the ladies.
Yeah, that's what that is, mate. It took me a while to figure out what you was on about then.
What's that yellow thing? That's probably a stupid thing to say on your bench, isn't it? Because everything's yellow.
Yeah, it's more or less surrounded with yellow, but I'm not down the hole.
Not that you're down the hole. Hello, echo.
Yeah, I'm not down the hole. Just thought I'd clarify that.
He's not down the hole, but I have to put like a 2.5 minute boost on his time, otherwise there'll be a 10-minute delay between our speech.
Yeah, let's just adjust the camera back. There you go. Try.
Let's have a look. Jeff says a Space 1999 Eagle and on an impulse sale to boot. Awesome. Excuse me. Frankie Goes to Hollywood's in and says, good evening, folks. Hey, Frankie, big hugs to you. Paul J. Lewis says Eagle 22-inch, got it, built it, even made a custom launch pad for it. Can send pics if you want. I'm sure you've put them in the boom hut. If not, why haven't you put them in the boom
feel
hut?
free, mate. Bung them in the old gallery, mate. I don't mind.
Yeah, stick it in the boom hut on the Festa's workshop. Great. Do you need a rub down with a damp cloth, or do you need a spatula to bring you off the ceiling? Yes. Yeah, I always need to rub down with a damp cloth. It's just the way I am. Anyway, so yes, much excite.
Absolutely.
Is that going to languish in the stash for a long time, or is it going to get
I've got a few other builds ahead of it at the moment, but it's one of those, seeing it for that price, it was like,
oh yeah. Think of it as a motivational tool. It motivates you to get the stash built as quickly as possible so you can get to it.
Yeah, so, I've got a bit of binge building that I'm going to be doing anyway, so, yeah. My cars and bikes stash are getting built right down, so...
Oh, yeah.
Got to do them nice and quick, see, so...
Yeah, because you've got an eagle to build now. Right.
Yes.
Shall we do some work?
Oh, yeah, I was just letting you recover from your moment of tensularity.
It's probably... I've just realised it was a terrible idea to do that because now I've got to paint tiny things and I've got, like, shaky hands because I'm excited.
Welcome to my world.
I may as well have just drunk 6 cups of coffee for the same effect.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, but it's well worth it.
Yeah. Now, if you remember, like I said, we are painting our Leman Russ builds. We've built them differently to each other, but we're both doing the same tank. We're doing the Leman Russ Punisher, and we're both doing the same paint scheme. And I'm showing Festa just some of the ways I paint, not all the ways I paint, and not the way I exclusively paint, but some of the ways I paint, just so he can take those methods and adapt them for his own use. And that's like I said before, not because I'm good, but because he wants to know how different people do things, so he can, what's the phrase, he can absorb all the different methods that all different people have and come up with his own ways of doing things. So if you remember, we've done all the base coats, we primed it black, we then there's no airbrushing, we brushed on the base coat, which was Skaven Black Dinge. We gave it
dingier.
Dinge! We gave it loads of Null Oil, and then we dry brushed some Mechanica Standard Grey and some Dawnstone to get the highlights back. You can see here, this is the original Skaven Black Dinge with the Null Oil on it, because we haven't done that yet. And this is what the rest of it looks like. It looks like airbrush, but it's not. It's all dry brushing. And then we did some light highlight grey chipping last week with some Dawnstone. Just to start, or was it Dawnstone, or was it
that's the one. Mechanicus Grey.
Which one was it? Sorry, which one?
Administratum Mechanicus Grey.
Administratum Grey, that's the one. Exactly.
That's the very one.
You got it exactly right the first time. You were spot on.
Yeah.
So we did that last week, and it looks terrible. You can have a close-up of mine. I'll give you a close-up of Collins. Let's have a look. I'll show you mine.
Yeah, if you want a terrible one, just have a look at mine.
It always looks terrible at this point because it looks like it's got some kind of skin disease. But I'll show you. I'll give you a full screen of Collins. You can show yours off.
Yeah, hold up. Let's just move me water bottle because I was filling me wet palletness. Yeah, there you go, folks. A few scratches.
Yeah. Got lots of scratches and chips on there and things. So we're
chips round there. Yeah.
Got chips around your iris.
Yeah, it's got chips on his iris. Yeah,
a bit of that. So we've got that, and what we're going to be starting doing today is we're doing a two-tone chipping scheme. We're putting the rusty colour inside the light chips. Basically, the way I do things sometimes, if you imagine the paint's on the surface of the vehicle, a stone might ping off it and scrape off the top layer of paint, which is dark and grimy and dirty, and show the clean paint underneath, which is lighter. Or it might stress the paint surface and make it look lighter. And then if it's a deep enough scratch or chip, it'll take that off completely and you'll see the metal underneath, which is rusty in this case because it's a knackered old Leman Russ. So I like to paint the light chips first. We sponge them on. I like to paint the light chips first. And then in the middle of the chips, I paint, not all of them, but most of them. That was good. I like that.
What's that, mate?
That sounded like hitting a piano string.
No, sorry, mate. I was moving my microphone.
Oh, right. No, it was a good sound. I like that.
What, that?
That was a goodly spring sound. I like that. Oh, I like that. Hang on, let me do it on mine. Doesn't really work on mine as well. It's a good sound, though.
Yeah.
Well, I've just had a big cloud of dust fall off mine.
He's happy now. See, this beats his beatbox any day, doesn't it?
The thing is, I do sound effects. I'm a sound effects guy, so... Anyway, yes, so we've got all the light chips. We've got all the light chips on there. We're painting the dark rusty colour inside some of the chips, just to suggest that the paint's come off completely. And the trick is, instead of doing a thing where you paint a line of a light colour and then a line of a dark colour, and it looks like a three-dimensional chip lit from above, I don't like that. That looks nonsense. So I like to just have the highlight round the entire chip because it's where the paint's broken away and you've got the clean paint edge exposed. So what we'll end up with is some light patches, and in some of those light patches there'll be like a brown dot where the paint's come away. And that's it. So we're going to start with that. So we're going to use Rhinox hide for our basey rusty colour. I'll go full screen in a second and show doing it, and then because I know you know it because we did a little bit last week, but for the viewers, for the viewers, I'll quickly show it. So I've got
no, you do what you got to do, mate, because you know there's going to be a lot of viewers in the chat that haven't seen this.
So I'll go full screen just for a minute then.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
So we have our tank with our light chips. I've got some Rhinox hide. I'm using Rhinox hide because I'm just going to suggest old rusty metal, and old rust is quite dark, new rust is quite orange. So I'm going to use Rhinox hide. If you wanted just like, say, aluminium or something under the paint, you'd use a silver colour, but this is an old Leman Russ and it could be hundreds of years old, so we're not going to have any bare metal at this point. Not yet, anyway. So we've got some on the wet palette, and the trick is to have a very fine brush. I'm using an artificial layer brush, but any real fine brush is good. You want to make sure it's a brush with a bit of a what's the word? Barrel to the brush, to the bristles, a bit of a reservoir of your paint. If you use, say, a Winsor & Newton Triple O Series 7, they've not got much of a barrel on them, so they don't hold a lot of paint. So go for something with a very fine point. It doesn't have to be small, but it has to have a very fine point. And all we're doing is, zoom in a little bit, maybe. Good idea, mightn't it? Zoom in a little bit. All we want to do is, for example, here you see we've got this like grey patch here with like lines coming off because it's like an impact of some sort. We're going to fill some of that, not all of it, some of it. So get your paint, get a little bit of water on your brush. You want it thinned a little bit, just a little tiny bit. You don't want it to be straight from the pot or anything like that because it needs to be very thin and not a lump. You're not making a lump. And what we're going to do is basically paint inside some of these, and what the aim is to try and keep an edge to the chip, so it's got that highlight edge around it. And what I might do is, instead of just painting the whole thing brown, what I might do is do a couple of little chips within that grey blob, just to suggest it's multiple chips. And here where there's a stripe, I might put some dots in there. On this big one here, this is like a bullet's pinged off the armour or something, so we'll do a big brown blob there inside. Do little bits inside like that. And then where it ricocheted off the surface, we'll just do some little tiny dots like that. And the reason you want it thinned a little tiny bit more is that as you go and put the little dots on, there'll be different colours because some of it will be a bit thin and quite faint and transparent. Some of it will be quite thick and dark, and you get variation. And when you get to the edge, where I've gone around the edge with grey, just get a 45-degree angle and just do little dots, and that just suggests that the paint's been scraped away from the edge there. And then where you've got the dots on the edge, you can just bring them down onto the flat surface, and that's all we're doing. We're just going for that kind of effect. You can do as much or as little as you want. I do apologise, it's not exactly the best looking image on a webcam, but you get the idea. You can build it up to be as chipped or as unchipped as you want. When you start off and you've just got the grey, it looks a bit weird like that. It looks a bit like, what the hell is that? But when you start to build it up, you can do big areas. I'll probably do quite a lot around here because it's underneath, but you can do big areas like this corner here. Let's just suggest that the rust is on the top and the bottom of that plate. So we go over the whole corner like that, on the top and the bottom, but I'll make it into dots as it goes along because it gets thinner. And I like to kind of suggest that the chips kind of build up into a large chunk somewhere and start with a thinner end. So it's not just a circle every time, there'll be little bits. I'll put some little tiny satellite chips there. There's a scrape there.
Satellite chips, that sounds good.
It sounds tasty. Because what you see on a lot of models when people paint models and they do the chipping effect, the one I don't like, is that they'll paint like a highlight, like that, a line there. They'll paint like a line or something, and then they'll do a dark line on above it, or they'll do the dark line first and then paint the light line to suggest it's like a three-dimensional thing. So you've got like the scrape and then the little bit at the bottom where the edge of the paint is. But you'll get like a space marine covered in scratches. It's like, well, That's just scratches. What about chips? And I prefer that if you do like the dark line and the light line, it's suggesting that that's an edge that the light's bouncing off. But the way I do it here is to suggest it's not an edge the light's bouncing off, it's the edge where the paint is lighter because it's cleaner and fresher than the stuff on the top of the tank. Or it could be the primer coat, you know, it could be the tank's painted dark grey, the primer was a very light grey, and the brown is the rust. So you can do as many different colours. You can do 3, 4, 5, even 5 colour primer coats if you want, and, you know, chip coats. But we're just doing the 2. And it's a case of do as much or as little as you want. You can see I've done some on the corner of the sponson there. To that effect. You're just getting this 3-dimensional effect where you've got the metal, the rusty metal, the light coloured, whether it's primer or just clean paint, and then the grey of the actual body of the paint. And it just gives that look. Now, it will still look a bit cartoony until we do all the weathering later on. And it will be in some places where it's like, say, light damage, that I might just leave it as the grey. I might not put lots of rust in there. I'll tend to focus the rust spots around edges where water would pool, and in areas where perhaps there's enough contact with things that it'll scrape all the paint off. But you want to leave some of it, like this bit here. I might just leave that as grey. Maybe put a little brown dot in one of them and leave the rest of it as grey, because it's scuffing, but it's not necessarily lots of paint damage. So it's entirely up to you where you want to put your damage. I'll do lots around the edges.
Well, you're going to have new chips, old chips, all kinds of chips, really, ain't you? You know, some have been there a long time and started to rust. Others might not have.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
You can have light and dark rust, can't you? All sorts.
That's it. And the beauty is you're telling a story. You're telling a story of what's happened to the vehicle that you're chipping. So, you know, if you want every chip to be deep rust, you're saying all these scratches and dings are quite deep, and, you know, or the paint was really thin and easily removed. Or, you know, you might leave some of your chips the light grey colour, and then the ones that are brown, you're saying, well, that's where either the bullets ricocheted off, or there's a lot of things rubbing against things that's taken the paint off more deeply.
Yeah, surfaces rubbing against each other. And
this is where all the people put their big dirty size 9 boots, because it's taken all the paint off.
Well, yeah, it could be a lot of footfall, couldn't there, over that area?
Yep. And what we'll do later, it's also good to do some chips, like I said, in areas where you might think that water would pool up. You know, if you've got like a raised area and it's got like a little lip, and the water might collect there and make the rust make the rust corrode a little bit, the metal corrode. What you can do later on then is build that up with other, like, weathering, like little rust washes later on.
Yeah.
So you've got lots of rusty paint chips, and then you kind of tint the surface of the unchipped paint with this rusty colour. And that's where the paint's been leached by the rust but not broken away yet.
Yeah.
So there'll be more rust to come. Next door making a curry, I can smell it. It's completely distracting me. I do apologise.
That's all right. Is it eagle distraction?
Yeah. All I can smell is wonderful meat and spicy smells from next door, and it's making me really, really
Can
hungry.
you smell peas?
I don't think they're you peas. I don't think they're big into peas. They're not very exciting, clearly. The exciting of peas.
Peas are fun.
Peas are good. Peas are good. So that's what we're going to be doing for the next 2 hours, is tiny chips. And like I say, make sure you've got a brush with a really fine point. These artificial layer brushes are pretty good. There's loads of other brands. This is where you can use your best brushes. If you want to use your, you know, top-notch brands, whether it's a Broken Toads or whatever. This isn't hard work for a brush to do, so you can use your expensive pointy brushes for these. It's just a case of making sure there's a nice reservoir for your paint. So the 777 brushes are great, but they don't hold a lot of paint. I mean, the Series 7 brushes, they don't hold a large amount of paint, so you'll be refilling your brush quite often. If you don't mind that, then go for it.
Exactly.
And this is all we're going to do. So anyway, hope everyone is well. Hope you're all having a good weekend so far. Where's the centre of the screen? It is there. Hope you're all having a good weekend this week. We've done bench and belly, but we didn't get many replies, so we'll ask it again. Bench and belly, what you're working on.
Yeah. Has anyone else made any model-related purchases this week that they want to tell us about?
Is it as awesome as his Eagle Transporter, is what we're asking.
You know. Yeah, but you would have torn your shoulder off, mate.
at that
you know
price.
you would have. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I really enjoy building it, but whether I want to build another one, I don't know. But if I saw it for that price, yeah, I'd just rip it out of the seller's hand.
Yeah.
If I was in a position to buy it at the time. Would I ever?
Yeah, I thought, I'm not going to see it at that price again.
No.
As H said, how much have you got in your I've given up smoking pot since the part work stopped? And I looked and I was like, oh.
Coincidence.
And she was like, oh, grab it. You're not going to see it again at that price, are you?
No. I'm going to come back at that price.
So that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Purchase approved. I was like, Gordon Bennett, is she feeling all right?
Yeah, you got permission. You got permission to do what needed to be done.
Well, yeah, it's my account, isn't it? At the end of the day, she said, but you've finished the part work now. Have you checked that account to see how much money's in there? Because she transfers X amount in each month, which is what I would have spent on me smoking habit.
Yeah.
And I'd not checked the account in a while because the Rossi bike had ended, see, so...
Yeah.
And she said, no, I'm still transferring it in there. She said, because that's I gave up smoking money.
I hope the amount going into the stash every week has increased with the cost of cigarettes.
I hadn't asked that. I didn't wish to appear to be taking the Michael.
Because that should be about 200 quid a week by this point.
But I'm like, yeah, inflation, yeah.
Must have about 18 grand in there by now. That's a week's worth of smoking. Huh?
But, so I was pleasantly pleased. So suffice to say, there is enough in there to get the additional set, so I should be getting that.
It is a bit outrageous how much the actual metal thruster bell set costs.
Yeah, it is really. And to be honest with you, once you've done it with the C1, are you really going to notice that you've used the aftermarket one?
No. Well, the thing is, if you use the aluminium bells, you don't need to do the C1, do you?
Yeah, it's just
I mean, if you look at mine, you know they're not actually metal, but they look pretty good. A lot of people wouldn't know they weren't metal.
Exactly.
So.
But yeah, it'll be on the build list at some point. So if that's something that interests folks, have a look, Lou.
Yeah.
Like I say, a lot of people have built it by now anyway, so it's...
Doesn't matter.
It's already out there on the tubes.
Doesn't matter. Still film it. If somebody searches for how to build and paint an Eagle Transporter, they don't care if it was filmed last week or 10 years ago. Does it show them what they need to know? Then there you go. Is the host charming and witty? Is it fun to watch? There you go. Dude, how are you getting on with your tiny chips, dude?
All right, mate.
It's kind of relaxing. It's kind of like you've got to concentrate, but it's a relaxing kind of concentration.
Tiny chips. Tiny chips. Tiny chips.
Just remember, golden rule.
Tiny chips.
Try and make chips, individual chips no bigger than a man's hand. Man's hand, you say?
Yeah.
And sometimes you can just paint a straight line down an edge. If you'd have to do dots all the time. You kind of get your own feel for it after a while.
Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? Because you've got to try and think of the scale of the tank as well.
Yep. But it's about
as tall. These are about the size of an house, aren't they?
Yeah, it's about as tall as your house, probably. That's the weird thing to think about it. You think it's a tiny tank in Warhammer terms, but it's like bigger than your house.
Yeah.
When you see the dude stuck at the top, you think, oh yeah, that's actually quite a big tank.
And people go, oh, but would it be that rusty? Well, these things have been going around for millennia, haven't they? So
yeah.
They're not going to be showroom shiny fresh.
No, some of these tanks could be... I mean, most of them probably don't last more than a week, but it's Imperial Guard, it's numbers, not quality. But they can be hundreds or if not even thousands of years old, so... Because let's not forget, it's the 41st millennium.
Yeah.
But these tanks have been around since just after the Horus Heresy, which was 10,000 years before, so... Yeah, they've been around for a while. It's like Baneblades. Baneblades were there during the Horus Heresy. So they've been around for at least 10,000 years.
Yes. I am overshadowed every time I come into the man cave by Insane Blade and Warlex staring out at me.
Oh, yeah.
We're here. We're here.
Hello. One thing you notice as well as you go where you put little grey chips over your decals.
Yeah.
You may have thought, well, the grey chips don't really show up and the decals just look terrible. But when you start putting the brown chips into the grey chips over the decals, it starts to break up. It breaks up your decal, and then it looks like your decal's been chipped away. At first, it doesn't because you just got this light grey on a white decal. It looks terrible.
Takes a while to get the eye to see, doesn't it?
Yeah. So once you put the brown in there, it really starts to make the decal look like it's been removed, and that's the trick, you see. I was going to say something.
I was found not guilty. Someone must have left it there.
Big boy did it.
Big boy did it and run away. Let's see whether I can get my camera sorted where people can actually see what I'm doing, because I keep going off shot. Beep.
I put a big X.
Trouble is trying to. Yeah, I've got a mark there, mate.
Yeah,
but it's,
I've got that. I miss it all the time.
no, I'm just trying not to keep knocking my camera with my hand, because it's literally right above my wrists.
All right, I've got mine a little bit higher than that. I might zoom in a little bit there. I know I don't like digital zoom, but I might zoom in a little bit because I can't have it any lower because I'll bang my head on it.
Well, this is why I've moved it right close, because I kept smacking it with my canister.
Well, I've zoomed mine in a bit. Unfortunately, it does look a bit bish, but then again, they're watching like a third of a 720p screen, so
yeah, exactly. So
when we go close up, I'll take the zoom off. Yeah, you can see all the qualities. Now, there are plans afoot, ladies and gentle spoons. Festa and I do have plans afoot. We haven't tested them yet, but we do have plans afoot to potentially drastically change the quality of these kind of streams where we're, two of us on the screen at once. It may not work, it may not come to fruition, but if it does, it means
we're going to give it a damn good try, aren't we?
Yeah, because when we do these two-man streams, basically you're watching us. The stream is in 1080p, but our actual camera feeds are in 720p, which is pants.
Yeah.
Like the last time 720p was cutting edge was like 2005. It's not even HD. We have some plans afoot after testing is done that what we'll eventually have is you'll be watching a 1080p stream with both our feeds will also be in 1080p. Because there's a massive difference in quality, especially when you're on a webcam, which is digital and therefore not exactly brilliant quality. So we have plans afoot to improve that, so stay tuned. I'm quite excited by that, actually.
Well, yeah, it all started by getting an email. I got an email off of Slops, and it was, I wonder whether the guru's aware of this impending thing.
I didn't have a clue. But basically it means we'll be able to stop using StreamYard for these like two-man streams.
Yeah, we can.
StreamYard, it works, but it's not brilliant.
There are limits, isn't there?
Yeah, well, 720p unless you pay more. But even then,
yeah, it's like
So the hope is that if we can get it to work, the idea of having two of us on the stream at the same time is built into the streaming software, rather than having to use a third-party website like StreamYard. So there'll be no loss of quality. Well, it's still using a third-party website, but it's not crap.
Opens up possibilities for the gaming stuff as well.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Because right now, there's no real practical way for Colin and I to do any kind of gaming stream where we're both in the stream, but one of us is playing a game. So, for example, let's say Colin wanted to play Grim Fandango, but he wanted me there as the sidekick, so I can just offer commentary and stuff while he's playing the game. Because, you watch my gaming streams, I'm just waffling to myself and keeping you guys entertained, but it'd be nice if I had someone there with me.
Yeah, if you had me there helping him out by doing a bit of chat and a bit of goofing around and that, it would make it more audience involved, wouldn't it? So that's what we're looking at coming up with.
Because it'll allow us to do that. Because right now there's no way for, like, if me and Colin wanted to do that, we can do two people together in the stream, but there's no way for there'd be no way for me to see the game that Colin was playing.
Yeah.
Or there would be maybe from his end, but if I was playing again, there's no way for me with my system and my bandwidth to play the game and let him see the game and everything else. So it makes that a possibility anyway.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. There may come a day when these streams are really good quality.
And you'll think, oh, wow, that's a nice clear picture. What happened there?
You'll think, that's a lovely picture, and wow, these guys really can't paint that well.
Yeah.
That is the downside.
I think they know that already.
Yeah. If you see our work in higher quality, it's like...
Yeah, that's where we'll go. Yeah, we tried that for a week. We're going back.
It reminds me greatly of... I remember many years ago. I think it was Russell T Davies, or it was after Russell T Davies stopped doing Doctor Who, and what's his face? The other guy came in, and somebody asked him, "Are you going to start filming it in like high definition now because of people getting 4K TVs and stuff?" And he said, "Not just yet, because although we've got the technology to film it in 4K, all the sets were built like the TARDIS sets. They look great when you watch it in 720p on TV or 480p. They don't look that great when you see them in 4K definition. You see they're kind of like chonkily made, and they weren't made for high definition cameras." He said, "So when we have to rebuild the TARDIS, then we'll build it with high definition content in mind." He said, "But right now..."
Yeah, made from an egg whisk and a sink plunger. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, you see, like the paint jobs, you see them in actual high definition. He said, if you see the set in real life, it's not that great looking, but when you see it on TV, it's fine, because it's obviously, you get all the compression and stuff. And that's the thing. He said, yeah, we won't film that in high definition just yet.
Bobbins is in, saying afternoon. Hello, Bobbins.
Hey,
How you doing, mate?
Welcome. Don't forget, folks, if you are watching this, but you're embedded on Facebook or Twitter or somewhere and you're not in live chat, come and join live chat. Just click the YouTube icon in the bottom right-hand corner, and it'll take you to YouTube where you can carry on watching and you can join the live chat. And if you're in the live chat, we are obviously busy painting, but we'll do our best to try and stay in touch with the chat. But if you want to catch our attention, you can simply do @Model Making Guru or @Festa67's Workshop in the comment. And it'll put our name in a coloured box. Or if you want to, you can do a super chat. You can press the dollar symbol underneath the chat window, and that will put your comment in a little box. There'll be an animation and everything, but there's no way we can miss that comment then. But you're also supporting the channel at the same time, but that's completely optional.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Spiddy Q8's in, says what goodness is occurring.
Hey, Spid,
chipping, mate.
Yeah, chipping.
We are chipping Leman Russ's. Yeah, he was in the brunch earlier on, mate. It's always nice to see.
No, yeah, I've not seen him on one of my streams for a while. It's nice.
Yeah.
Chipping all the things away. Yeah, welcome, Spid.
We are graced with celebrities today because we've got Carl Sagan in, Jeff. We've got Bob Ross in, who's Spiddy. We're doing well, mate.
All right.
We're honoured.
Oh, the smell from next door is just... Oh, it's overpoweringly good. Oh, it smells like chicken, but like heavily spiced. Oh.
Yeah, if folks are wondering where Foxx went, he's gone next door for his dinner.
Yeah. Oh, so nice. It smells so good. Whenever I do live streams, I either come away wanting really crappy junk food like pizza and stuff, because that's all we ever talk about, or I come away wanting curry because next door I'm making a curry and I've got my window open to keep the room cool. It's a good life.
Today it's curry.
Yeah. Well, no, because Mama Fox won't eat curry. She doesn't like curry that much. Well, she does, but she doesn't. At the minute, she's not really into.
No.
She'd probably be like, no, I don't really want that. She does like it. She likes the kormas and things.
And I'm proper in the good books because I got issued with big hugs again, didn't I?
Yeah, you got big hugs and a kiss from Mama Fox.
See, so yeah.
As an indication of how fast I'm going with this chipping, by the way, so far I've done that bit there, and the pole and the thing. That's as far as I've got so far. I've not even finished this side yet. So if you are doing brush chipping on a model, keep in mind that
it can take a while.
Yeah, this is the long part of the job. Don't rush it.
It's fun.
Oh yeah. Don't rush it. Take your time. This is the part where things start to come together and make sense. And it's always fun when you do the stage. You have the stage where it looks like garbage. Then you do the next step and it comes together and you're like,
Yeah.
And that's the
satisfaction. Of course, yeah. Since last week I named it as well. It's called Iron Can.
Iron Can. Iron Can? Yes, he can.
Yeah.
Why did you call it Iron Can? Explain.
Why? Because it's iron and it's a can.
I like that logic.
Yeah, that's Festa logic. It's like, yeah, I made up the letters, and that was it. I thought, well, why not? I couldn't call it Iron Man, so I thought I'd call it Iron Can.
Yeah. And it's appropriate because you know what orcs call things like tanks and rhinos?
No.
They call them metal boxes.
Oh, well, there you go then. It's
Metal
can,
boxes.
isn't it?
If you ever see metal boxes, BAWKXES, it's an orc saying metal boxes.
Boxes.
They just see them as like metal boxes full of dead people, because whenever they open one up, it's full of all the dead people they killed in it because they blew it up.
Yeah. So yeah, that's its name. It had to have something put on there.
But it is nice and satisfying when it starts to come together and you start to see the beginnings of the kind of the overall weathering feel of it.
The madness.
Yeah, it never looks right when you've got that first highlight chip coat on. It never looks. You think, what have I done? You always think you've ruined it, but you haven't.
Well, it's like anything. You know where your vision's taking you, and you know it's going to take many layers to achieve it. But when you first start doing it, you think, yeah, have I made a right boo-boo here? Because, yeah.
Well, that's part of the skill and challenge of anything artistic like this, not just painting models, but anything like this, painting and drawing, is knowing that, but being able to keep the end goal in mind so you don't lose sight.
Yeah. It's been able to keep the project going, innit? Because we was like that with the stompers, weren't we? I think we still are, because we're at that awkward stage on them paint jobs, isn't we?
Awkward stage.
Yeah, see what I did there?
I see what you did there. Yeah, it's being able to... I mean, I've seen people get to like a certain point of a paint job, not just on models, but a paint job anyway, and you get to that stage where it's not quite come together yet. And it can look a bit bish, and they've gone, I've ruined it, I'm just going to put it to one side. And it's like, no, just keep going, because it's going to come together, trust me.
Yeah.
And it's just learning to see that. Sometimes it's really hard to see. Even I get that. I'm there, and I'm like, I can't see this at all. It's not making sense. I've messed it up. But I just have to fight through it sometimes. You get there.
Oh, yeah. Like you say, it just takes time.
Oh, God, my eyes are watering. Curse you, medications that give me a tickly cough.
I've got a few builds that I've had sat for a while now that I started, and I can remember you saying to me, oh, why haven't you finished that one? I said, because at the moment, that's the level of stuff I've learnt at the moment. I want to learn the next stages so that I can go back to them builds and apply it to them, and that's what I did. I took them to the stage I was comfortable at, and then... like I say, with these techniques and more that I'm picking up from Duncan, I can then reapproach them builds, go back to them and actually finish them. So,
and the other thing is, of course, it's not just knowing when you need to not give up hope because you've got stuff to come that'll make it all make sense.
Yes.
It's also knowing that sometimes you do that, and you have to do that. Like I was making my... oh, God, I've got the sniffles now. Not only the coughs, the sniffles and the watering eyes. God damn it, body. I was making my scrap jet, whatever it was, the Orc vehicle.
Yeah, Wasbomb Dackerjet. Yeah.
No, the car thing, the scrap jet Megatrack.
Oh, yeah.
And all I did was I primed it red, and I started painting one little bit, and I was like, I'm not feeling it. I'm just putting it to one side.
Yeah.
But now I've been doing the stomper, and I've been doing it with dry brushing all the blues. I'm like... I know I can go back to that because I know exactly what I'm going to do. Yeah,
because you've got a technique there that is going to work really well with that particular build, and that's why I stopped with my Orc trucks and things like that. Same as the Wasbomb, the X-Wing one I've done, is because I know I'm going to be using a lot of what we've been doing on these to repaint it, because it's a different technique and I like the look of it. And yeah,
well, doing that stomper's really like opened my eyes to doing that kind of orky paint job, and I'm like, right, I'm happy now to do all these other orc things that I built. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm like, I really want to get an orc truck. It's not exactly a brilliant model, but I want to paint one.
Yeah.
So, sometimes it's okay.
Well, this is it. I mean, that rust first, dry brush after has opened up a wealth of opportunity for you, because you can do that paint job pretty rapidly.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I kind of had a thought how it might turn out, and it turned out better than I hoped. So now I know I can, because I've done it before, but I've used masking fluids and stuff like that. But just painting it rusty and then dry brushing on the main paint colour, it came out looking so good that I'm like, you know what? It's a viable option. That.
Well, especially if you're flipping them.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna speed that entire process right up, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
as long as people want to buy Death Skulls. Oh.
yeah.
Rust colours work best on yellow and blue.
Yeah.
So if you're painting something yellow or blue and you want to do lots of rusty chips, they're the best colours. If you do something red, it's not that good because red and rust, you can do it. It just doesn't look as awesome. That's why JCBs always look fantastic when they're rusty.
Oh, they're brilliant, aren't they? Yep. Look absolute crap when they're new, but when they've got a bit of character.
Yep. If you ever want to learn about, like, you know, ways to make things look when you're doing weathering, go and look for a building site, and look for a building site where they've got things like JCB diggers and stuff that are yellow.
Yeah, plant machinery.
Yeah, because that's the best colour to show how paintwork actually chipped.
Old tractors, old shipping containers, things like that.
You're an old tractor.
Yeah. And believe it or not, skips, you know, refuse skips.
Oh, God, yeah. Skips are great.
You know, take some pictures of them on your mobile phone, especially the corners. Look where the water's run and stuff, because it opens your eyes. Whenever I see stuff like that, I get the old camera phone out. My missus is like, why are you taking a picture of a JCB? Look at the weathering, love.
Yeah.
Oh.
Skips are brilliant because they're all really old and they don't have exactly brilliant paint jobs. They're not painted like a car or a truck. It's just, you get a skip, you slap some paint on it, and that's it, you know, it's whatever. Nobody's going to give a crap about the paint job on a skip. So the paint's not very durable, and they're a great mixture of not only chipping, but also, like you say, the leaching where you've got the rust build up under the paint, so it tints the paint orange. Yeah. But it doesn't take the paint off, and you get things like all the scuffing and stuff because they're being lifted on the back of the truck, and there's all the crap being stuck. So you get you get brilliant. You get the whole spectrum of chipping and scraping and scruffing, and it's great. Skips are great because they don't start off with a hardcore paint job.
No,
I'm pretty sure that diggers and things and JCBs actually have decent paint jobs on them. So
JCB does, it's fully glossed up, isn't it?
Because they're made to be durable.
Whereas skips are usually matte coated because they're going to get abused. So
it's just some bloke in the skip company with a rattle can probably. We need more blue. There you go. Whatever.
Yeah, they've all got that slightly crooked hand mask sign in it. Yeah. Acme Skips.
Oh yeah. They just get a bit. Yeah.
You know, where they sprayed it with a rattle can, you could see where the rectangular shape of the cardboard was because
no fires.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
There's one around here. I've never actually seen their skips, but they're called the Pink Skip Company. They do pink skips. I've never actually seen any of their skips. Pink's another good colour for rust, oddly enough.
Oh, really? That surprises me.
Because it's a light colour, you see, like yellow and pink and blue. Red can work with rust, but with red, the rust colour and the red colour for your paintwork are very similar. So the key with red is to have the clean paint chip, you know, the outline of the chip has to be quite a bright colour. So when I do red, I tend to use a pink colour. So that once you've done like the red and then your brown rust and then you've got the pink outlines and you do all your weathering on top, the pink stands out a bit. A bit more than normal, because otherwise you've got the red and the rust looking very similar, you see. So when you do red chipping, you can have a bit of a nervous breakdown because it looks absolutely terrible when it's just pink.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But then it comes good. I wouldn't bother doing any of the chips on your like las guns or anything like that. If you've got any like side arms and like rifles and things stuck on the sides, don't bother with them. We'll repaint those anyway, so don't bother with them. I do apologise. Right, I've finished one side.
Oh, you're good.
That's about how long this takes. I'll let people see what I've done. Let me zoom in a little bit and full screen on that. So, again, keep in mind it's on a webcam, so it looks like garbage. I've now done that side. So we've got all the little sort of brown areas. You've got the brown chip. This is a bit weird because this was like a light grey patch. So it's not really a big single chip, but you've got areas like I did over here. you've got the chip with the white outline, but then that white outline fades away into other chips and things like. Because we did a little bit of dry brushing with the chipping, and we did it with a sponge, so you get that nice mixture. You can see where the chips. Before you wouldn't have noticed that there were chips on, say, this decal, but now I've put the brown on there. You can see the chip actually goes through the decal and messes it up. Same with that one there. Before, it just looked like that. It just looked weird because it's got this grey chip on it. When you put the brown on, it starts to really make it look damaged. So there you go. That looks, now it still looks very extreme. It still looks kind of weird and cartoony, but once we get everything else on there, like the oil paint, if we do a dot filter, we might not. If we do any streaking grimes and stuff, they'll start to bring it all together. So again, don't lose hope. It still looks a bit weird. And it looks a bit crispy on a webcam, but there you go. And especially on StreamYard's 720p nonsense, but there you go. So that's what we're looking at so far. So I shall zoom back out again. I'll stay zoomed in a bit so people can see what we're doing, but there you go. So yes, how are you getting on with yours, buddy?
All right, mate. It's coming along bit by bit.
You want me to full screen?
Bit of chippage. Yeah, you can do, mate. A little bit of chippage around the bottom there. Some on the decal.
You've got the same little bottom chippage that I've got, if you pardon the expression. I like that.
So you got a bit of that going on, mate. So yeah, a little bit across the decal, across the turret, the sponson even.
See, now you're thinking we're chipping.
Yeah. See, so yeah. Following some of the scratches at the beginning and letting it fade as the scratch continues. Yeah. It's coming along.
Try and make sure, I don't know if they're just not showing on camera, but try and make sure you've got lots of little tiny ones as well to make all the, like on the back bit there.
Yeah, there are dots as you go further around.
Yeah,
bits and pieces, little dotted ones coming up through the front there.
Yeah, that just ties all the big ones together. It's looking good though, buddy.
It's getting there.
You are learning well, my child. You are learning well. Oh, God, the smell from next door. Oh, I'm really hungry. Is it 8 o'clock yet? Can I go home? So that's one side done. I've now got to do the back, the other side, the front, the top, and underneath. This won't be finished today.
No.
This is not something you do.
No.
It's something you might finish of an evening if you're just doing it for fun, but you won't finish in a 3-hour live stream. So, folks, give us stuff to talk about in chat, please.
Yeah, not with the speed us two work at.
Yeah, Dorkosaurus is in, apparently. I've just seen somebody say Dorkosaurus, so...
Hello, mate. How you diddling?
Dorkosaurus. Let's have a look at chat. I'll have a quick chat dolly moment. Let's have a look. Speedy Q8. Oh, we've done that one. Andy McLeish munches on some German pepperoni whilst waiting for burgers. You can't munch on pepperoni. It's kind of squishy. Not good when you think a neighbour is cooking something nice and you realise it's the smell from the sewage works up the road. Oh, we get that every now and then. We sometimes get like a sewagey smell, but we never know if it's the sewers backing up or if it's actually the farmers or the silage.
Yeah.
Because we're a good few miles from the nearest like farmland, but you don't have to get that sort of silage smell every now and then in the summer. You're like, oh. Yeah,
we get it when the farmers are doing their spreading on the fields. Like, you know, it's like, yeah, it really curls the nostrils up.
It does, doesn't it? Like, oh, I was hungry now. I'm not hungry now. It's funny though.
Used to get it from Beckton sewage works when we lived near there, you know. But yeah,
we used to get the smells from the Shell refinery near us, but a few miles away. Dorkosaurus only here for about 10 or 15. Then I'm cooking hot dogs with sauerkraut and sautéed onion. Oh, sauerkraut on hot dogs is brilliant. I used to have that. Oh, I hope you're still with us. Yeah, Jacqueline Crochet Art is in as well. Jackie, hey Jackie.
Hello, Jackie.
Welcome. Apologies we're missing you all. We are busy painting. Marcus Brune is in. Hi, Marcus. Big hugs to you.
Hello, Marcus. How you diddling, mate?
We've missed so many people coming in. Darren Edmonds has finished his Budweiser, which is probably the best thing, and now he's having a whiskey.
Good man.
Sounding good and healthy, Fox. Yeah. Ooh, a rusted Fab 1, says Speedy Q8. I think he's doing Google searches.
Oh, nice.
I'm not sure what's going on there. Something's pundy on the floor. I don't quite know why. Apparently, Andy McLeish is being reminded not to forget the lube. I've obviously missed the conversation here, so I'm not going to...
Oh, dear, I'm getting worried now.
I'm not going to... Yeah. Dorkosaurus says, I'm here. Hello, Dorkosaurus. Hello, my friend. Welcome.
How you diddling, mate?
We've got an email from Games Workshop. Next week's glorious pre-orders. Oh dear. Yeah, let's not look at that. Quite amusing this week. They put out the rules for, the squats, the whatever they're called. I can't remember what they're called now. The dwarves in 40k. They've started bringing them back. They put out the rules apparently, and they were way overpowered. And everybody complained, and then they've had to come out and say, okay, yeah, we've heard you. We'll rebalance them a bit. But they used they got James Workshop out. They've got this character called James Workshop.
Yeah.
Who they make out to be like the owner of Games Workshop. He's like, hi, I'm James Workshop, and I own... He's quite funny.
Oh, God.
And he did a video explaining how they were a bit overpowered, and he's on the phone to someone. He says, we've put out these things for the Legions of Voltan, or whatever they're called, and we think they're brilliant. And the phone rings. He's like, yes, what? Overpowered? What? No. Well, why don't we just make the rules that you put your parts on the table and then you instantly win first place? That's fine. Just do that instead.
Oh, cool.
And he's like, no, okay, right. But it's quite funny. He's quite a funny character. Trying to say, yes, we screwed up and we'll rebalance them.
Good that they're listening.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think there was a big public out. I think they got leaked, and then there was a bit of an outcry that they were too OP. I don't know. I don't play the game, so.
No, that's the thing. We haven't progressed to that level yet, have we?
No.
Says the man who'll probably end up with bloody gaming table.
You'll probably play way before I do, because you know somebody who plays anyway.
Yeah.
And you'll have access to a gaming table. I don't have any of those things. So you'll be into that way before I ever am.
I don't honestly know whether I will.
I bet you do.
I don't know.
Is it Lexi that plays?
It's Lex, yeah.
Yeah, I bet, because he'll be like, the moment you set up a gaming table accidentally in your man cave, when you move into the new man cave,
Yeah.
and you accidentally set up a 6x3 table and go, oh, look at the size of that.
Where did that come from?
Just by pure fluke, it happens to be the right standard league size. The moment you do that, Lex will be like, go on then, I'll show you how to play.
Yeah.
With all your orcs.
Yeah, he plays down the shop.
There you go. Because by then you'll have enough orcs to actually feel the force of, at least, if not for a full game, then at least a skirmish of some sort.
Yeah.
He knows, he's watching you. He's watching you.
Oh, yeah, I caught him in here the other day, ogling at the Insane Blade. It's like, yeah.
Does he kind of encourage you a bit? Is he quite proud that you're doing orcs and stuff? Is he like, go on.
Yeah, he's like, Dad, you need to get out more. But I must admit, he says, I love that Bane Blade. He said, that's just, yeah.
How long's he been into it? Has he been into it for a long time?
Cool, yeah, years, mate.
So how it must be cool for him to see his old dad suddenly getting into the hobby that he's had for years and years.
Well, yeah, it kind of surprised him. It was by chance he came out here one day, and I was just putting, I think it was one of my custom booster blaster, and I was putting it on the shelf. He said, I didn't know you was doing Warhammer stuff. I went, oh, you know Warhammer? He went, yeah, where do you think I go every bloody Saturday?
I don't know what's more amusing, that he doesn't know what you're doing, or that you didn't have a clue that you like Warhammer, even though he's like your son.
Yeah, but he's a gamer, he comes out of his room for sustenance.
Where does he do all his building and painting then?
Upstairs in his room.
Wow.
Yeah, he does it all up there.
So he knows you do the model making stuff, but he's never said, I do model making as well.
Exactly. I've said to him, come down here.
Yeah,
I'll bung you a chair in and pop your uncle.
This needs to happen. I can't believe there's two of you in the same house doing the same hobby and there's no crossover here. This is insane. We need to.
But it's you are talking about two introverts.
This is like
we're not huggy people, as you know.
This is like me.
An in-depth conversation between me and Lex is maybe every 3 or 4 days. Right, geez? Yeah.
This is like me not knowing that Mama Fox is secretly building a particle accelerator in the basement. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
When did you get into physics?
So, I don't, I knock before I'd even go into his room. And even then I stay by the door because it's his bedroom. It's his privacy. Is there now crossover that, are you going to learn things from him, his painting techniques as well? He says more so probably him from me, yeah. But he has already spied all the paint on the door, and he says, you've got them colours. You got that as well.
It makes me laugh that there's probably a whole stash of paints and tools upstairs that you never even knew existed.
Yeah,
this is so weird.
Locked them away, but he's like, yeah.
I can't believe you never mentioned this before. This is amazing. This is like.
Oh, it's never really come up in conversation, has it?
This is like this is like living in a house for 20 years, and then you find there's a whole room you didn't know about.
Well, I only knew that he started doing it because he was having a move round, and I saw a couple of Warhammer boxes, and I was like, he's building Warhammer. Oh. Yeah,
this is insane. You need to have you suggested him coming on the channel occasionally and showing off his stuff or getting involved?
Mate, you think Ellen's shy? Yeah,
don't have to be live.
But,
at least we
I'll get him to put some stuff up in the gallery at some point.
Yeah, he needs to at least join the group and
yeah, he's doing Tyranids at the moment.
Oh yeah, Tyranids. Yep, the unsightly
he's
horde.
Playing with. Yeah, he's doing something because he likes all the different shapes and mythology stuff and that. So he's. I must find out what his specific army is actually. But he's got lots of wild fantasy bits that he's been doing for it. Mm-hmm. And then he'll change onto something. I think I've seen some Space Marines before.
Oh yeah, because Tyranids is a faction, so.
But yeah,
you might have other ones as well.
Yeah, I'll have to go in one day and have a good chat with him about it.
You might be a massive deathcore nerd.
That's a point, yeah.
Might be into deathcore Krieg.
Yeah,
do you know what?
That'd be funny.
For all you know, he's been buying expensive stuff from Forge World for the last 10 years, and you're there saying I've spent all this money in Forge World, and so's he.
That's a point. Yeah, I wonder whether he's been to Forge World.
Yeah, he's probably got more points. He's probably got more points in Goblin Gaming than you. Yeah. I can't believe you both share exactly the same hobby and neither of you knew about it. This is
it. It's
insane.
It's one of those. I'm not a person that's up my kid's arse every 5 minutes. No, they do their thing and do their own. They've got their own lives, haven't they? So
no, I know, but it's just like I don't understand how I can't get my head around. It's like, what are you doing today? Oh, I'm doing a live stream, and then the conversation just ends. It doesn't carry on saying what you're streaming, what you're doing, or stuff. I can't imagine.
There's been times he's been in, and I've not even realised he's here because we've got he's got his own. He's nearly 30, he comes and goes and does what he wants.
Oh, I know, but it's just weird to. Yeah. I find it vastly amusing.
He comes down for his dinner. He'll then disappear gaming. He's got a big old 50-inch telly up there, all the consoles in the world, all his creature comforts. If he wants to do some building, he'll do some building. If he wants to do some gaming, he'll do that. He does video editing, all sorts of gubbins. Don't forget he does accounting as well as a full-time job. So.
I just think it's awesome that it's hilarious that there's been times when you've been thinking, I need to get this specific paint colour, and he's probably got it upstairs. You could just borrow it.
Probably already got it. Yeah.
You and him are probably keeping GW in business. This is amazing.
He's proper been ogling the contrast paint collection, and I could see him mulling over. And I said, "Look, what's on the door you use, mate? If you need it, just grab it, use it. It's not a problem."
Because I imagine him just sitting there on this pokey little bedside tabletop thing trying to paint stuff, and you've got a whole bench there with lights and everything.
Pokey little room. His room's 4 times as big as this man cave, mate.
Is it?
He's got the biggest room in the house, mate.
Oh, wow. So he's got a big old workbench and everything.
Yeah, he's got a big old workbench up there and that. He's got his own little realm, innit?
Damn. You need to exploit your child for content. That's what you need to do. It's basically what I'm saying. You need to exploit your child for channel content.
Yeah, bless him.
There's probably a Ferengi rule of acquisition that covers that, exploiting your child for profit.
Yeah, be careful. Yeah.
I find this vastly amusing. There's a whole secret life there that you didn't know anything about, and it's exactly the same as yours. That's brilliant.
Oh, yeah. Sordid family secret, isn't it? Warhammer.
So when did you actually find out? How long ago was that?
Oh, it's only about 6 months or so.
All right.
Yeah, it's not long.
Because if I was living in the house and found out somebody else had that, I'd be like, right, let's sit down and talk about it constantly, non-stop.
Yeah, it's one of them. You know, then he said, "Oh, do you?" Because I said to him, if you need paints to paint them, you've only got to go and look on the man cave door. I've got a paint rack full of them.
Yeah.
And then he ambled in, he was ogling that, and then he spotted the insane blade, and he's like, "What the f?" And then he started spotting some of the others, because obviously the man cave has been moved round, isn't it? So you can see a lot more of the stuff now than you once could. So
this is insane.
Yeah,
this is insane.
But it's handy for me, because if I'm having a bad hands day or whatever, I can just say to him, "There's a box of figures there if you want to paint them."
Yeah.
So
So every time you say, here's one I painted off screen.
Yeah. So. But yeah, it's different, isn't it?
Just think about it there. Between the two of you could get loads of stuff painted up and on eBay and you'd make a fortune. Get a right little business going. You need to have this conversation with him. He can do the accounts.
Oh, yeah.
He can make the
Come in handy, mate, because, guess who's going to be doing my next tax return?
He can make the accounts work.
Allegedly, yeah.
I had to do my tax return this week, god damn it.
Yeah, you were saying, because forms are fillingness.
Yeah, I had some forms to fill out for certain benefits, and it's like, right, we need to have all your income. What? Oh, I'm going to have to do my tax return. I might as well do my tax return now then, god damn it.
I want to know the ins and outs of a cat's avarice, mate.
The funny thing was, I normally do my tax return like at the end of December, after Christmas and before New Year.
Yeah.
And I don't mind doing my tax return, because at the moment I earn so little that it's like I quite enjoy going, because all I do is I go through all my like Amazon and PayPal and stuff, and I list them all in spreadsheet, and then I put it all into the database. So it's like I quite enjoy it, because it's going through all the things, saying, right, what did I pay? What was this payment for? What was that? What did I buy? And I'm remembering all the things I bought through Amazon. So I don't mind it so much. But the thing is, this form for this specific benefit was like that. Doing my tax return was the easy bit. Doing the form for the benefit was like, I really do need an accountancy degree for this. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, 64 pages of useless info,
Yeah, it's like, you're asking me for more detail than the HMRC, and I pay them tax. So,
yeah.
Ow. That was fun. So at least it means I don't have to do my tax return at Christmas anyway.
Yeah, but it's frustrating, because all they would have to do is push a button and they can pull all that info from the tax database anyway.
Well, to be fair for them, my accounts were filed up for 2020 to 2021, and they wanted 2021 to this April. So I'm like, okay. So I mean, if I'd done my tax return early, then they would have had all that information. But if I'd known, for example,
yeah,
because it does make some sense to do your tax return as soon as you can. I'd rather not, but hey, it's just because it's maths, and I don't like maths. Nothing good ever came of maths. I shall have a quick look at chat, see what's happening. Tanks. Dorkosaurus says, tanks are looking awesome. Time to get dinner, lunch cooking. Hope everybody has a wonderful day. I'll see you all on the next one. Take care, Dorkosaurus.
Absolutely, mate. You take care, buddy.
Use the trouser legs as an aiming guide. I don't even know what we're talking. I'm not even. When it's a conversation between Paul Lewis and Andy McLeish, I'm not even going to ask.
Oh dear.
I'm not even going to ask.
Yeah, that's where it all went wrong then.
I'm not even going to. I don't even want to. I'm not even going to scroll up for that. Amusing information that I'm going to embarrass Festa with. A couple of days ago, I put some information into Colin and I, we do all our conversing through Facebook Messenger, because it doesn't cost anything. It's not like text messages. So that's where me and Colin keep in touch. A couple of days ago, I typed in some information. Here is the information you requested. Click. And 20 minutes later, I said, and here's some other information. Click. He then read the bottom comment and totally didn't even see the comment above it. There was like that far above it. It didn't even need scrolling. So about 2 days later, I'm like, did you get that thing I sent you? And he went, oh. So you're bad at scrolling up. Can you extend that to looking up as well?
Oh yeah, I am that person. Like I'll say to
bad.
the missus, "Where's that?" And she goes, "It's in the cupboard." I open the door and it's eye level, and then I close the door and I'm like, "It's not in there." And she goes, "Did you try the shelf below it?" And I'm like, "Oh, you didn't say look down."
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's literally.
I am bad, mate. I did giggle when I scrolled up all of about 3 millimeters, and it was like, there it was.
He'd actually asked me for some information, so I put it there. But I've learnt now when I send something to you now, I'm going to have to literally send one comment and not have any comments after it. That's the trick.
Yeah, but you'll be pleased to know that it's now been saved to its own folder.
Good. But I think that's what I'll have to do now.
I have no excuse now.
No, I have the habit, you see, of putting information in the message and then adding other bits afterwards because I'll forget something. I need to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but then, you know, you're a normal person. You are sending stuff to a person who doesn't scroll up.
Or look up or read. I think the thing is that you go into your Facebook and you think, oh, there's a message from me, so you look at the latest comment and that's it. Yeah,
I look at the most recent one and I go, yeah, that's the chat done. That's a bit like live stream chat. I see the last comment. It's like, yeah, no worries. And someone will go, you didn't read my message out. And I'm like, where is it? Because I can't see it on there. As far as I'm concerned, it don't exist. And there's apparently, if I do this, oh, look, there's other message. Apparently, that there's a thing. I didn't know that.
It's like there's a room full of people here I didn't even know about. It's like I've got a son that has the same hobby as me.
So, yeah, it's like, yeah.
Don't ever change, buddy.
Oh, no. It's funny, he ambled in the other day, and I went, oh, hello, I didn't think you was in. And he said, I've been in all bloody day. I said, have you? He said, oh, once you're in that cave, he said, you know, he said, the world could pass you by.
Is this your nickname?
I said, says the person who sits up there gaming all day.
Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly, that's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy.
So if I'm Captain Stabbity, are you just like Captain Oblivious or something? Is that what we're going to call you now?
I am, mate. Yeah. Honestly, if I'm in here, there could be a JCB demolishing the house around me. I would not have a clue, mate, because you're in the zone, aren't you?
You don't even know if your broadband went off, because then you'd be like, oh, bollocks, I can't stream now.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only time I notice stuff. H went away for the weekend, didn't she, that time with her sister?
Oh, yeah.
Me and him were home alone for 2 days. I think we passed each other on the hallway and said hello once. You know, now we get on well. Don't get me wrong. There's no animosity or anything like that. He's my son, for crying out loud. But he's got his life. I've got mine. We don't interfere with each other. We're two introverted people.
Do you know what it is?
What?
You're basically both still teenagers, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, as H and Cal, they're very tactile, cuddly people. They know everything that each other's doing.
Yeah.
Whereas me and H, and she's the same with Lex, like I am. She's like, oh, have you spoken to Lex this week? I said, I'll see him in your way the other day. He's all right. What did you say? I went, morning. What did he say?
Morning.
Morning.
All right.
She said, how'd you know he's okay then? I said, because if he wasn't, he wouldn't have said morning.
Yeah.
She went, I don't get it. She said, you two are so bloody alike. I went, you and Captain Cuddles.
You basically are both teenagers, aren't you?
Yeah.
I like Lex more and more every time you explain more about him.
Oh, yeah, you ask him for direction, he moves his foot. You know, he'll be saying, oh, Lex, have you seen where that is? And his left foot will go, over there. I was like, yeah, I must adopt that one because that saves using your arm.
Just a quick update for folks. If you remember, when we did these hazard straps, I'll zoom in a little bit. When we did the hazard stripe decal on the front, it looked really weird because we'd put the grey paint chipped over it, and the yellow, of course, didn't work. So I then went back with some Dawn yellow and brush painted on the yellow chips onto the yellow stripes, and that's a light yellow. Now, of course, we're going in with the brown rust. I'm not even finished yet, but now we're going in with the brown rust colour. You start to see how it brings the yellow and the black together. Because the highlight for the yellow chips stands out more because you've got the brown in the middle of it. The brown on the black stripes is almost invisible, but you can see it makes the edge of the grey a little more subtle. And once this is all weathered up and you've got some streaks as well, it'll look more like chipped, weathered yellow and black. Excuse me. So hopefully that's it. It's not quite as shiny in real life, and again, it looks a lot better in real life. I've got lots more to do on it, but it just starts to bring together. The yellow chips look terrible until I started putting the brown on them. So that's the trick.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just getting it so that, like you say, you can see what the yellow's doing.
Yeah. I've got to wipe my nose. Like light yellow chips on a yellow background doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
But as soon as you put,
it's a bit like the grey when we first done it, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, like grey on black makes no sense. It looks like grey dots on a black background. As soon as you put the rust colour in the middle, I'm just wiping my nose. I had a massive nose run just then.
Oh dear. I could see up there.
No. I'm having a problem with fluids lately, I tell you.
Ooh.
So I went to loo the other day and like the Atlantic fell out of my ass. I'm like, what? Where did that come from?
Oh, too much info.
I didn't feel sick. It was like, I need to... Whoa, that was... Water? What?
That's your 50s. Welcome to our world.
And it wasn't like I was there all day. It was like that once and then I went back to normal. I'm like...
Oh, no, it's wham bams, thank you, ma'am, and that's it. You're like, oh.
Yeah, it's not like you get the poops for a day and you're sitting there not trusting yourself to do a trump or anything. It was like, morning, whoa.
Yeah, it's like watching a plane drop water on a forest fire.
Yeah. I'm hoping there's not like a diver in the middle of it.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on from that subject.
I remember reading a thing in I can't remember where I read it once, but they found a strange discovery in the middle of an area that had been, it's going back years. They were clearing up the damage from a forest fire in somewhere in the US, and amongst all the burnt out trees and animals and stuff, they found a burnt corpse in the remains of scuba diving gear.
Oh, wow.
In the middle of this forest in, like, you know, the Appalachians or somewhere.
Yeah.
And basically what had happened was it was one of the planes dumping water had scooped all this water out of a lake.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I don't know how they do. I don't know how they scoop. I think it's like you get like a helicopter, and it's got the big canvas thing.
They got a thing, ain't they, where the bottom of the plane isn't it got a chute or something that comes down, or it can lower a big bag of collectingness in there.
Yeah, I think it's like if it's a helicopter, they do like the collecting bags, and basically they just dumped this bag into this lake and got billions of gallons of lake water.
Yeah,
and dumped it. But unfortunately, there was somebody diving in the lake at the time.
Oh,
it was basically scooped up and
scooped up and thrown in the middle of the fire.
Yeah.
Oh,
one minute you're in a lake diving for treasure, the next minute you're in the middle of a forest fire, and you're like, what?
Oh.
And you know what? Scuba diving gear, not that great in the middle of a forest fire, apparently. Who'd have known?
No, it goes boom, 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 doesn't it?
Who'd have guessed? So,
Isn't that weird?
I can't remember where that was. It was like...
That's got to be the most unfortunate luck, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I've seen much more unfortunate ways to go, or in timing. In like the classic one of a guy who was in a cave and was killed by a rockfall.
Oh right, yeah.
And there's like real tight passage, but unfortunately, when they found him, I saw the photograph of it, and he's basically there, and it was a photograph from side on.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like, you know, he wasn't trapped in a... He was like just in this like little ledge, and this rock had fallen and killed him. So he's lying there, basically face down, and underneath his crotch is a chicken.
Oh.
So you can imagine what he was doing in the cave when the rock fell on his back.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like, that's not something you expected to find.
Yeah, that's awkward moment, isn't it?
Yeah, he'd obviously gone in the cave for a bit of alone time.
Yeah. Yeah, the missus gets called in. Could you come and identify your husband? Yeah.
Yeah, try not to look all over the... just go for
was
the
he a
face.
pet lover?
Did he like animals?
Yeah. Did he like chicken?
Yeah.
Well, he was a vegetarian. Ah. Right, so he wasn't marinating it then?
In a cave.
In a cave. Yeah. That is awkward, isn't it?
How do you even break that to the relatives? It's like, what?
Would the relative be informed of that?
It's like, well, they might be
suppose they've got to, haven't they? Because they have to let them know the circumstances.
Your relative was found in a cave, crushed with a rock. What was he doing in a cave? We don't really know. He was exploring. We think he was possibly just exploring.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Can't remember where I saw half of these things.
I worry about your Google search to bring that up, to be
No,
quite honest with you.
This is when one of my mates in the 90s was into all these lad mags, like GQ and all this kind of crap.
Oh, right, yeah.
Where it's all these, a lot of it's just made up nonsense, but. And by lad mag, I don't mean porn. I mean, they were like, what were they like? There was GQ and there was, I can't remember them. There's a couple of others. They were mostly about cars and things like that and movies, but they always had these bizarre apocryphal stories in them.
Yeah.
The kind of thing you sit on the toilet and read while you're doing your filthy business.
Yeah. Reading of its time, wasn't it?
Yes. Late 90s, early 2000s.
Trying to think of what ones there were.
It was GQ.
Nuts.
Yeah, Nuts was one of them.
Used to do all the motorbike stuff in there, didn't they? Loosely surrounded by semi-clad women.
Yeah, there's always like articles I put in inverted commas.
Yeah, it's like, oh, come and have a read up on this brand new Triumph motorcycle. You think, oh, I've been looking forward to that. And it's like, well, get the Doris out of the way, will you? I want to see the paint job.
Yeah, I can't think of it.
It's like, yeah, that was a great review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They truly were a product of the 1990s.
Oh, they were, weren't they?
Yeah. What? You don't know about Mama Fox's accelerator? We've been following it on her YouTube for months. Wait, what?
Oh, dear.
Darren Edmonds says to Paul Lewis, make sure you go for the pink, you don't accidentally pop the brat. I'm just not even getting into this conversation.
Oh, now I'm really getting worried.
It's Lewis, McLeish and Edmonds in the... I'm not even going to ask.
So you've said the right words there, McLeish. What more could we say? He corrupts us all.
Yeah. He is made to serve.
And Andy's going, I accept the consequences of my guilt.
I don't know.
Don't ever change, Andy.
Yeah. I'm not going to worry about the chipping underneath too much, apart from on the sides of the track units. I'm not going to bother about the floor, because you're going to get covered in dirt anyway when we do it. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of dirt and detritus going under there.
Yeah. I'm doing this bit here because you'll see that.
Yeah.
But the actual floor pan, I'm not going to bother with that. And if you glue it to a base or something, you never see it anyway.
Yeah, I've not decided what to do about a base yet.
I mean, vehicles don't tend to go on bases in gameplay, but obviously if you're just doing it as a model, you can do what you want.
That's handy to know.
Yeah, you don't... I mean, some vehicles do. Like, you get the Orc ones, they come with a base.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the little stack of booster blasters and that.
Yeah, but that's because they're not counted as armour or troop transports. I guess for armour and troop transports, you don't need... Because the thing with bases is it's all about the measurements between things on the tabletop.
Oh, right, yeah.
So, and I could be wrong here, but for example, if you're going to have a unit of dudes, they have to be at least no further than X distance apart. So you go from the edge of the base to the next. Mm-hmm. And if you've got a dude with a 6-inch firing range, you measure from the base edge to the enemy base edge, and if it's more than 6 inches, he's not going to hit.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
And that's why, for example, certain things have bases. But I suppose that for things like Imperial Knights, you need a base because it'll fall over.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why cars have bases, or cars have bases, but these don't.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, the Taurox Prime, which is a small armoured vehicle.
It's a similar footprint, isn't it? Unless it's to do with the scale. Because in the real world, the Leman Russ is going to be about 5 times as big as a booster blaster, isn't it?
No, they're all to scale with each other.
Oh, they are they? I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, all Warhammer
I
stuff.
suppose they need to be, don't they? Yeah.
They only have 2 scales. They have this scale, which is heroic scale, and then they have the Titanic stuff, which is you get that the Imperial Knights where they come out that big, because it's a different game. It's like a tabletop version of Imperial Knights, and
Oh, right, yeah.
And Titans and things. That's Adeptus Titanicus. And that's like the Titan you get from Forge World that's 4 feet high comes out about this big.
Yeah.
But that's just a specific little game. Everything else is all the same. It's about 1/53rd Warhammer.
Oh, right, yeah.
The normal stuff, not the Titanicus stuff, or the Aeronautica Imperialis is about the same scale. But yeah, this is all, it's about 1/53rd scale, but it's not quite realistic.
Andy McLeish is saying guilty as charged. Good man.
Don't know of what, but we'll take it.
Andy graciously accepts his guilt.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, pardon me.
Steady Nerys. Yeah, so I don't know why some vehicles have stands and some don't. Like I say, the booster blasters and stuff, they've all got bases, but why?
Yeah, they've all got bases. A lot of them, I just put the bases away because I got them displayed without a base. But yeah. Others I've gone back to and made a tiny little base. But
yeah, I mean, apart from the knight, which needs one to stand up, the base does serve an actual gameplay function on figures and things. It does on the knight as well, because again, it's just about measuring. That's why you get, if you buy a box set of like dudes and tabletop stuff, you get measuring sticks. And that. Are you getting on, buddy?
all right, mate.
How far have you got so far? I've just about finished the... No, I haven't. I thought I'd finished the front, but I haven't.
Just doing a couple of bits on the turret.
For some reason then, I thought you were going to say the word peas. I'm just doing a few peas.
A few peas. I like peas.
Why don't you paint your tank pea green?
I've got peas.
I had a friend once.
Yeah, I had one of them. I lost it. We are going to hell, aren't we?
I got a flashlight once. It dumped me. Come on, I didn't get a laugh. God damn it! I thought that was quite good. That one.
Sorry, mate. I was engrossed.
Oh. Damn, I thought that was a really good one as well.
I got a torch and I put the battery in the wrong way round and I lit myself up. Oh, we're so going to hell.
Yeah.
It's all meant in jest.
Mm-hmm. Tried to
If you haven't seen it, just Google John Major spitting image.
Yeah.
You'll get exactly what we're doing.
Nice deflection.
It was good, that, wasn't it?
I like that.
You're going to save that in your future use.
I tried doing Artex once, but I cut myself. It was too exciting.
And, I got a paper cut once off toilet paper.
Rice paper.
All the peas. Stop it.
Stop it.
You're so wrong. If you get downstairs and say to your mum, what do I want for dinner? And she goes, peas.
Hey, she'll have gone for a snooze. Don't even think she'll still be downstairs.
Yeah, she's snooked for a crafty nap, isn't she?
I just painted something and the moment I painted it, I turned the tank around and I've got no idea what I just painted. I just did a chip on something. Literally
That's karma getting you back for the peas, see?
Literally turned it round and I'm like, what did I just paint? I've got no idea what I just... Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
Oh dear, what are we like? Why have I just chipped a magazine? Oh, you pillock. It's because we was distracting each other. That's my excuse.
I tried skydiving once, but the pilot jumped out instead.
I tried skydiving once and nearly drowned. I realised I was upside down. Oh, dear. Oh, I can think of many, but it might, yeah.
I bought a spirit level once. Didn't have a bubble in it.
Yeah, he's the sort of, yeah, you could send for a cordless extension lead and they'd go and ask for one. Yeah. Can I have a cheesecake?
Peas in it.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Nearly.
Ooh, breathe.
That was almost Marvin the Martian then.
I know, scary.
It was funny yesterday. I was doing my Cyberpunk stream yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think it was McLeish put a quote from Marvin the Martian in my chat.
Yeah.
But the only reason I knew instantly it was Marvin the Martian, I think it would have been Andy, was that I'd just been listening to a Skeptic's Guide podcast from a few years ago, where they were they were specifically focusing on the very word that was in the statement that he posted in the chat and how it sounded like Marvin the Martian. And I was like, wait, that's exactly the phrase they were referring to in this saying. So he basically posted in chat the phrase that was very similar, or if not the same one I'd just heard.
We can always rely on Andy. Good old Andy.
Andy.
Don't ever change.
Hang on, chat just jumped. It's gone somewhere. Speedy Q8 says, amusing visions of Festa in one room and Sun in another, and both saying, I wish I knew someone closer who was into this.
Yeah.
It's true though, isn't it?
Yeah. I bought a gaming table, got no one to play with, and we've both got one set up in our rooms.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speedy Q8, I totally understand it, Fox. I've tried to have a conversation with my teenager. It's harder than logic suggests.
It's like getting blood out of a stone spit, isn't it, mate?
Yeah. Darren says, I'm the same. I could be painting a figure, then look up and the zombie apocalypse could have started, and I would never know. Yeah. Digger is in. Digger Evans, Model Railway. Welcome, Digger.
Hello, Digger. You all right, buddy?
Hey, welcome.
Yeah, teenagers. Great. Great fun. Mind you, he's in his 20s, so yeah. I was reminding him that he's going to be 30 in 2 years.
Who's that?
Lex.
Oh, yeah.
So
30?
I might have been mocking him. Yeah, it's going to be 30.
Oh, I would.
Yeah.
Nobody ever gets to 30. That's far too old.
Yeah, I can't remember anything about my 30s.
There's some things I wish I didn't remember about my 30s, but we'll move on from that.
Yeah.
You're having thoughts that are making you giggle.
I am. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. We know. I know when it's the things you can't reveal publicly that you're thinking about, because you sit there going, and it's stuff you're like, yeah, I can't tell you about it. Not publicly.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah. It's bad, isn't it?
Yeah. You may not know what Festa thinks about, but you know when he's thinking it.
Yeah, I'm not very good at concealing it, am I?
No. That time in MI6 totally didn't pay off.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like, yeah.
One of my friends tried to get me to go and work for MI6 once.
Oh, right, yeah.
So a passing for it's not like one of my best friends, a mate of a mate.
Yeah.
I don't know specifically where he works, but he obviously works in that sort of arena.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we started some conversation, and he seemed to think that I'd be very good at cryptography.
Yeah, cryptography was a thing they was heavily recruiting on, wasn't it, a while back?
And he's like, go and read these books and stuff, because he said, I think you'd be really good at cryptography, because you've got this kind of eye for detail. I'm like, really? He said, yeah. Come and work at MI6. I'm like, you don't work for MI6. He said, I can't tell you where I work. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So,
was he wearing a bowler hat and carrying an umbrella?
Carrying a copy of the Times and a carnation in his
Yeah.
No, I guess he works in something along those lines, but...
Yeah. Normally, they go, I work in communications.
Yes. Oh, he's done that.
Yeah.
I never took him up on it, but...
No. No, there was a heavy recruitment drive for cryptographers because,
yeah, and it was going on about like not just cryptography but the steganography as well, which is the whole thing of knocking the camera with your head. That's always a winner. The whole thing of information hidden in images.
Yes.
Like, here's a JPEG of something. It's really amusing, but it also contains lots of secret documents.
Oh, yeah, metadata. The people that can find hidden metadata in things. And it's brilliant, isn't it?
So he's like, here's some books you should go and read. And I never kind of took him up on it, but...
I would like to be in the whole cybercrime thing,
Maybe, but then if you get stuck looking at, say, if you ended up being in the division that looks into things like child abuse and child pornography.
I mean, with the what's his name agencies.
I mean, like the security end of it.
Yeah. Oh no, I wouldn't want to be. Wouldn't want to be doing the other side of it. No. But no, like say for instance, you're having to create a backdoor into an enemy's system, that type of thing. Reverse engineering of software, or looking at metadata and communications between bodies that you're trying to infiltrate, all of that kind of gubbins.
That would be good.
I find that interesting.
I mean, it wouldn't be anything I'd ever do because I don't have any understanding of that. I'm not quite sure whether this guy thought I'd be great at steganography and stuff. He says, you're technically minded, and I'm like,
Paul J. Lewis says, Foxx in intelligence.
I know.
I guess MI6 dodged a bullet then.
Well, that's one of the reasons I never took him up on it. Is like, I'm naturally curious, but I'm not smart, so...
Oh, well, you're selling yourself short there, mate, I think.
I'm not that smart.
I think you're putting yourself down there, mate.
I don't do maths for a start.
Yeah, but look, you don't have to do maths, do you?
Yeah.
It's not the be-all and end-all of everything. Is that with one F or two Fs, maths as well?
A lot of code breaking is mathematically based.
Yeah, but, it's one of those, if someone sat you down and said, right, this is how you find the hidden data, have a go on there, I'm sure you'd pick that up pretty easily. You're one of those people, once you're shown something, you can do it quite freely.
Yeah, but I wouldn't then be able to go off and come up with my own ways of doing things. It's like, I had to, I remember I had to do I used to work in this telecoms call centre, in what we used to call the force level team, which is looking at call traffic coming in and out and making sure all the staff were assigned, and we had the staff to deal with the call traffic and stuff. And it was all one of the things was like all the reports that used to historical reports on all the call traffic and stuff. And I was asked to take over from one of the other guys who was leaving, who did all these reports for the management about call traffic. And he's like, right, I'll take you through it. Here's I've written it all down in a simple Excel spreadsheet, because it was Excel spreadsheets. Yeah. I've written down an idiot's list of press this, do that, press this, select that area. I still, after 6 months, I still didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There wasn't a day when I submitted a report to the management and it came back saying, well, this doesn't seem right. I hated that with a vengeance.
Yeah, I mean, I always found the whole espionage thing intriguing, where people could find the people that were up to the naughtiness, and all of that. And it's intriguing, isn't it? You think, do these people really exist? Well, of course they do at the end of the day, but it's a whole different world, isn't it? I
was working in one of the call centres, telecoms call centre. For some reason, it used to keep happening to me that I'd be working for a company, and I'd get these little projects that were like, why have you chosen me for this? Yeah. One of them was they were going to move the call centre to a new place and wanted to change the software. So they were like, Fox, here's 20 pieces of very expensive commercial software. Please go and assess which is the right one. Okay.
Yeah, cheers for that. Yeah.
So I had to go and test all these different bits of software and work out which was the best one that they should go with. Okay. But this one, it was... they were like, right, we're going to start trying some... We've got customers that owe us money that have disappeared on us.
Oh, right, yeah.
And we're just going to try out this new service that's available, just to see if we can have a better way of using, say, credit checks and credit reports and stuff to find people who owe us money. And what we want to do is we want you to put this system through its paces, basically. It's go through, find some of our debtors, use all the credit reports that you can get. You know, run all the credit reports that this service offers, and use social media and stuff to try and track them down. Use whatever you can do on the internet, social media or anything else, to try and track them down. I'm like, okay, that sounds actually interesting. And basically, you run a credit report, you do a full-on credit check with the cool business history and stuff, because we're business software, business telecoms. Yeah. And you get lots of useful information from that, and then you can use that to try and track them down on things like Twitter and Facebook and other public...
Oh, right, yeah, so you're finding their internet or their data trail, basically.
Yeah, find out, are they on LinkedIn, are they on here, what is their internet footprint, can I find them? And that was quite good, because they're only a little bit, they're like, shop owners and stuff, it wasn't like international crime or anything. They were little farty businessmen. But that was quite fun, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that sounds like, really mint, mate.
That was like, we've got this customer called, Bob Smith.
Yeah.
I know all his registered addresses that the business has been involved with because I can get that on the credit report. And I know this, that and the other and his people he's associated with. Now I can go and try and find him on Facebook, for example. And I can filter out all the different Bob Smith. And it was really good fun, but what they decided, they said, after about 6 months, they were like, okay, you found lots and lots of customers, we like that. And I was like, yeah, I'm enjoying doing it. It's really good fun. He said, yeah, unfortunately, you spend like £1 billion on the credit check company because you keep running all these credit check reports. I'm like, well, it's kind of what you want me to do. And he's like, yeah, it's kind of too expensive. I was like, well, I said, I need the information.
It's more expensive than the return you're going to get, I suppose.
Yeah, they were like, we didn't really want you to do that much credit checking. We want you to do a little bit and then do the rest of it like just manual legwork on the social media. I'm like, well, you kind of need all the information.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you enjoyed it a bit too much. Yeah, can I keep doing it? No.
You got carried away, didn't you?
Well, it was, for the one thing, I wasn't on the phone to customers, which was great because they were all morons.
Yeah.
But two, I was just sat there just basically hunting people down all day. It was great fun.
Speedy says, damn it, steganography isn't the study of Stegosaurus.
I know, I got excited until I realised that.
Yeah.
Because at the time I was actually working on... I went from customer services, which I hated.
Yeah.
And they put me on this team. I can't remember what it was called, but it's the one where when the customer hasn't got what they want through customer services and they've gone through all the complaints and stuff, and then they get to like the real last hope, and it's the team that looks at their complaint and has the power to do anything, basically.
Yeah.
They say, right, we're where the complaint comes when everything else has failed, and I hated every minute of it.
Customer complaints department.
Well, it was beyond that. This was like, I can't remember what it's called now. It was like where the real proper cases went after everything else had failed.
Yeah.
And often it was just they owed us lots of money, and a lot of it was shouting at people because it was a case of, I'm sorry, but there's nothing you can do. You owe us the money, pay it.
Yeah, so exactly
It wasn't just collections, although I did collections for a while. It wasn't collections. It was trying to resolve the issues because the people on this team had more power than your average customer service advisor. But I hated it because he was shouting a lot. And they said, can you go and do this track and trace for a bit? Hell yeah. Not on the phone? Great. So, yeah. I hated all my customer service jobs. They were all rubbish.
Yeah, a lot of people I know that have come away from that whole call centre thing, and
I mean, I made a lot of good friends and we had a laugh, but the jobs themselves were terrible.
Well, the thing is, all you're getting is abuse all day long, and it's like anything. They say to you, don't ignore it, take it, you're there, this is this and this. But when you're getting non-stop verbal abuse from the minute you switch on to the minute you switch off, it's gonna eat at you.
And especially when they're all absolute unassailed screaming morons that you're dealing with as well.
Yeah, no matter how calm you can be or how logical you think your reasoning is, sooner or later there's going to be a day when it just gets under your skin.
Oh god, yeah. I was doing it for 25 years, so in various different jobs. But,
it's like, The
only customer service job I ever did, or any kind of job like that, was when I was working for a housing trust. And we were the, the old people that live in the assisted housing.
Oh right, yeah.
And they have the warden who, it's like loads of apartments in a building.
The warden patrolled or warden complexes, Yeah,
and it basically means the old person can live in their own place, their own apartment or whatever. and they can be independent, but they've got a warden there and stuff, and a community.
Oh yeah, it's a bit like where my mum lives. She's got the warden there. It's almost like a gated community. Is the best way of describing it. It's not a spanner home as such. It's just like you say, they've all got their own bungalows, etc. But they've got that comfort of having almost like a warden caretaker that goes round just keeping order on things. And
Well, what we did was we were actually we worked for the company. It was Anchor Housing Trust, they were called. I don't know if they're still going. But the specific job we did was we were the ones that answered when they pulled the emergency cord.
Oh, right,
Because they'd have like a pull cord over the bed or in the bathroom and in various places.
Exactly,
And if they fell or had a problem emergency, they'd pull the cord because they can come through to us in the call centre.
Yes.
And we were tiny, there was like 6 of us. They can come through to us 24/7. And then we can, rather than, they're not going to get hold of the warden because the warden lives on site, but they come through to us and then we can, depending on what's needed, we can call the warden, we can call the ambulance, we can call the police or whatever it might be, we deal with it.
Yeah, you almost like triage the call, don't you?
Yeah, but that was I actually loved that job, and it was amazing because it was a really easy job for starting. I'm lazy, but you really enjoyed it because you were helping these people.
Well, you're doing some good at the end of the day as well, aren't you?
I mean, you had the difficult calls. You had the calls that were, not nice to deal with, but at the same time, for the most part, you're doing good work. And a lot of most of the time, it was accidental pulls anyway, so they were always really friendly. Like, oh, I'm really sorry. But it made up for the difficult calls. But it was just, and we had a good laugh with the team. And it was, they had 24/7, so some of us had to work through. There was a night shift and stuff, and it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And I loved that job. It was great.
Well, like you say, it's almost because you're fulfilling or helping a community.
Yeah.
It just gives you that sense, doesn't it, of, I'm doing some good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're helping out the old
totally
folks.
get that. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Because we're all going to end up in that situation at the end of the day. That's how I always see it.
Exactly. It comes to all of us.
And they was young like us once, and, we're going to end up like them, so...
Yeah, I mean, like I say, you had your share of difficult calls, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah.
And not just like, falls and
where
deaths
the
and things
ending
like
of
that.
it,
But,
yeah.
But calls from people who were difficult to deal with, let's say.
Yes.
Because it was, there was some... The saddening thing was some of the residents, they weren't all old people.
Yeah.
Some of them were like young people who'd various difficulties. One of them was a guy who was in his, I think, 40s. And he was married with kids. And for whatever had happened, I don't know, but he'd had like a massive stroke and it had just completely destroyed him.
Yeah.
He was disabled. He was very limited mentally.
Right, yeah.
He was in a wheelchair and very physically limited, so he needed a lot of care.
Yeah.
But because of the way he'd been affected by the stroke, he became incredibly difficult to be with. And in the end, they put him in this place, and his family just never came to see him. They just left him, just abandoned him. He was,
what a shame.
And he was a nightmare because he pulled the cord all the time, of course. And he wasn't being deliberate, but he pulled the cord, and it got to the point where there was only a few people on the system that we had where the notes would say, do not call the ambulance, ever.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what he says, do not call the ambulance, they will not attend.
Yeah.
Because it got to the point where, the ambulance crew will be like, we're not going back there because there's never anything wrong, and he's just after attention. And yes, it means there'll be that one time it's genuine, but unfortunately...
unfortunately, it's that circumstance that's...
It's, the one time we don't go to him when we should do is a lot less dangerous than the 50 times we go a week.
Well, this is it, because if they go 50 times, potentially that's 50 people that could have life-threatening conditions that aren't receiving any help. So,
And that was tough because he knew it wasn't his fault. He was his brain had been heavily damaged by the stroke, and there's a lot of issues there.
Yeah.
And it got to one point where we were in such a position where, we had the note saying, don't call the ambulance. We're like, well, what do we do if we think it's genuine? And for us, the absolute last resort. I need to get my throat 1 sec. For us, the absolute last resort, because even the warden would be like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
So I remember once, absolute last resort was to call a family member, and they were like not nice at all. They would.
It's always sad,
they
isn't
did not
it?
want to know. Yeah, you were like, I'm really sorry. I'm like, nope, don't care. Sorry.
You
Can't
come
help.
across someone like that and you think, how can you be so dispassionate? But I suppose if they had dealt with it for years and years, they was probably drained down as well. What do you do? It's so difficult, isn't it?
You kind of I was kind of torn, really, in a lot of ways, and all of us were, because you've got empathy for the person themselves, the person that's in the situation. But you also have to have empathy for the family that have dealt with it and got to the point of just leaving him to this solitary existence. It's quite sad. There was other cases like that, but yeah, so there were difficult calls. But
leaves a lump in your throat, though, doesn't it?
Well, it leaves you with a lot of thoughts, a lot of difficult thoughts and decisions. But it was couched by the fact you were doing something good and it was worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, a good friend of mine does a lot of work for Samaritans.
Oh, God, yeah, I couldn't do that.
And, last time I met up, was chatting, I said, you're all right. He looked really preoccupied, and he said, I just had a bad case this week.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, you can talk about it, mate. He says, best I don't.
Yeah, you really don't.
He said, he said, we have counsellors and that we liaise with ourselves. He said, but, he said, I'll be betraying my confidentiality thing and all of that lot. And I went, well, as long as you're getting support, mate.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
He said, every now and then, he said, you get a bad one. He said, and yeah.
Yeah, it takes a certain kind of person to be able to do that.
Oh, I'll
me,
take my hat off to them. No, I would, you know what I'm like, you've known me for years. I listen to anyone and try to help everyone. Yeah. But sometimes you take on all of the issues and you're not dealing with your own issues, if that makes sense.
That's why
rightly so. You've crossed me up and gone, dude. Yeah, it's great that you're helping everyone, but no one's helping you. You need to sort your own shizzle out. And you're right when you say that, because you can get so engrossed in trying to help everyone that you forget about yourself sometimes.
Yeah, I'd be the same. I can be cold when I need to, but I'm also incredibly empathetic sometimes.
Yeah.
To my own fault, basically.
Unless it's me falling down the stairs, but then that is funny.
Yeah, but it's like, it's one of my difficult things that I have to deal with, is the fact that I do find myself being too empathetic with people and feeling their pain, and it's like, it can really kind of break you in a lot of ways.
It can send you on a spiral.
Yeah, it's not a good thing to have. Right, what's chat doing?
Pardon me.
Digger Evans says, hi, Foxx Festa.
Hello, Digger.
The practice of concealing a message with another message or a physical object is steganography. Yes, says Paul Lewis.
Yeah.
Fraser Green is in. Welcome, Fraser.
Hello, Fraser.
Do you like the handbrake turn I applied there to get us out of the sadness talk?
Yeah, I was really impressed with that.
Yeah, just by saying, right, anyway, let's look at chat. That's a good handbrake turn, that.
You are good.
Jeff Light, how are your munchies, says Paul Lewis. He says, very tasty, but I don't remember Jeff Light telling us what his munchies were.
Yeah, we need to know all of the sordid details, Jeff.
If you did tell us again.
We're useless because we forgot.
Yeah, if you didn't tell us, then shut up and tell us.
Yeah, what'd you get? What'd you have? Tell us.
What did you put into your face mouth? All of your face mouths.
Yeah. Did I tell you, Fox, that I bought an Eagle transporter?
You bought an Eagle transporter?
Yeah.
Harry Potter? What?
Yeah.
I know you did.
Do you know what that means? I'm going to have to re-watch season 1 of Space 1999.
Well, you should always re-watch season 1 of Space 1999.
Mate, I've still got to get back to DS9, mate. I am shameful. Which means I'm going to have to re-watch every single... You check your chat there, mate.
£10 from Paul Lewis. Speaking of helping those in need, have some coin. Paul Lewis, thank you very much. You're very kind.
There you go,
Bigly
mate.
hugs, thank you. You'll get a ping up coming up in a minute. There you go. Thank you very much. Very kind of you, Paul Lewis. That will help.
Absolutely.
That will help. I've got to clear my throat again. One sec.
It all helps massively, mate. It really does.
Thank you very, very much.
It really does, mate.
Very, very kind of you.
But that means I'm going to have to rewatch all the Kira goodness all over again, aren't I?
Oh, it's such a tragedy in our time, that is. Oh, the humanity.
It's going to cause me so much pain, Fox.
Yeah. Well, Kira's just had the O'Brien's baby in my watch through anyway.
Oh, is she?
And
see, is it wrong of me to think that she still kind of looked good pregnant? It was the nose wrinkles, mate.
You know what? The funny thing was, though, is the episode where she's in labour. And it actually made me spit, because I'd forgotten about it. It made me spit coffee out. She's in labour, right? And there's the nurse lady there. There's Keiko O'Brien and there's Miles O'Brien. And like the nurse lady rattles something, Keiko does this with the shaky thing, and Miles has to go ding on this little gong. But there's one bit where, like, you know, the nurse does the thing, Keiko does the thing, and Miles O'Brien's just there staring at Nerys, like with this gormless look, and Keiko like elbows him and he goes, ding. And I literally spat me Diet Pepper at me Dr. Pepper on to me dinner when I did that. I just didn't expect it.
You could just imagine in real life there that he had actually forgot what he needed to do. He's like,
and then him and Shakar like almost fighting about, like, because like Shakar comes in late, so the nurse blames Shakar for because she doesn't give birth because she got distracted. So O'Brien blames Shakar for that, and Shakar blames O'Brien for this. It's sort of like a little fight between them.
Yeah,
like two kids.
Intendant Kira.
So we started this stream with Festa's trouser tent under the desk, and now we're going to end the stream with Festa's trouser tent under the desk.
Yeah, and it's not what's his name related either, is it? It's not Eagle related. Nope. Yeah, no, it's coming along. I'm quite happy with that. It's getting there.
Hang on.
It's different.
I'll put you full screen. Seeing as you suddenly handbrake over without warning there.
It's a bit pebble dashed, but I'm happy with it. It's getting there.
Looking good to me, buddy.
It's getting there slowly but surely. There are little divots and little individual dots in various places.
Good lad.
Probably not coming out as well on camera, but I'll take some zoom in pics.
Yeah.
It's getting there.
So far, I have done. I'll put me on. You've clearly got lots more work to do because you've gone much faster than me. So you're going far too fast. I've done that side. Again, you won't really see it because it won't really come out on camera. That side's been done, and the sponson. Yeah. I've done the front.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Now, it still looks a bit like somebody coughed up a loogie on it, and it looks a bit weird.
Yeah.
But again, once we start doing, like, other weathering, the grey will tone down and blend into the browns. We'll do, like, some rust streaking and rust patches with oil paints later on and things like that. So, and there'll be other colours, like that will be a different colour, the eagle on the front and stuff, that will break out. So it will start to look a bit less spotty. And I've not started on this side yet, and I've just started doing the top here and this bit. So we've just started there, and a little bit on the back corner there. And I've done, like, here where I've got this whole corner. I did a big massive grey splob by accident on this corner.
Right, yeah.
So all I've done is just made it into a big massive rusty splob.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Why not? Because don't forget, last week I already had majority of one side done before we went back with the light grey. So
that's true.
I've done the side, the top, and a bit on the front.
Good lad.
So,
and the one thing to keep in mind, whether you're airbrushing or dry brushing, another thing that makes the chipping look much more professional when somebody looks at your work and think, oh, how did you do that? Is when you have paint chips that are around, say, the edge of a panel here. And they're all the same, they're all uniform, they're all light grey with the brown interior. The paint chips don't change, but the grey underneath goes from dark grey to light grey.
Yeah.
Now, we dry brush this, so you've got this grey from here, fades into the light grey on the edge here, and then you've got paint chips on the top. But whether you've airbrushed it or dry brushed it, having that colour change under your chips, having a contrast from light and dark that's independent of and underneath the chips, there's something in your brain that makes it realise you've done a lot more work. If this was just a flat grey colour and you put some chips on it, it'd look like X amount of work. Because you've got that grade from dark to light and various different panels. First of all, it helps blend into the highlight chips a little bit. I can't think of another example now. That's probably the best one. It just gives a little extra level of professionalness to a paint job, and it makes a paint job look a lot more complicated than it actually was.
Yeah, so, that's it, because you've got tonal variety. Tonal variety
I like
says
that, hey.
Gripping the bench with sharpness.
You've gotten it all on today. You even said patina twice today and all.
I did, I know.
So this is what
I'm gonna write to the wife and say, can we have the old Festa back?
Yeah. So this is one of the tricks. These are some of the tricks that I don't know, that aren't the right tricks, but the tricks that I've found to make a paint job look better. The best example I ever did was on my Stormwolf dropship, where I airbrushed it, and it was like the medium dark blue to the light blue, but the chips went over the top, and it just has this nice effect. And it makes, if you've done a dry brush like us, it makes it look more airbrushed. Because
this is the thing, isn't it, at the end of the day, is that it's none of this has been done with airbrushes at the end of the day.
Nope, because I'm lazy and I can't be asked getting it out. And also, I can't really do airbrushing on a stream because it's too impractical and too noisy. So, but it's just little ways that you can make your paint job look a lot more technically proficient than maybe perhaps it is.
Yeah.
Because we've all got a certain level to which we paint, but there's ways to make it look like you've gone beyond that, and that's just one little way of doing it. One little way of doing it. It's just have that. It makes it look like you've done a lot more work than you have, especially if you're doing it to sell it. People automatically think, if you've got, say, a dry brush grade transition and it looks all right, as soon as you start putting stuff on top of it that obfuscates it a bit like chips, it makes it look more like an airbrush transition and less like dry brushing. It smooths it all out. Really nice.
Lynn's in saying hello, Lynn.
Hello.
How you doing, darling?
Hello, Lynn.
She's like, yay, I'm at my friend's house doing some laundry. Hi, Fox, Colin, and everyone else in the chat.
Hey, Lynn.
Have yourself a free spider pig for your trouble.
I was going to say, when you go to your friend's house, do the laundry, you could take your laptop with you and just watch on the laptop, or if you've got a tablet or something. If I'm watching, it's always funny if I'm watching, say, your Sunday stream, I have to be downstairs doing the washing up or something of a Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. I take the iPad down with me and just watch while I'm washing up.
Good man.
Especially on a gallery week when all I want to do is see you. All I want to do, my only interest in watching the gallery is to watch you talk about my work, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't care about anybody else's stuff, just my stuff.
No, I had wondered, mate.
So I have it on in the background so I can just wait for the bits where you talk about me, and then I suddenly stop doing the washing up and I listen intently. And then you talk about other people, so I'll switch off then and go back to doing the washing up.
Yeah, and then he goes, he's talking about other people now. I'm going now.
Back to the washing up.
I know what he's doing.
I don't really do that. Joking.
No, we was really lucky this week again. Some stunning work.
Yeah. There was some really good work on show, and Paul Lewis's stuff.
Oh, you're wicked.
Well, it's because he was doing the same to me. He knows I'm joking. It was all really good. That paper motor wagon actually looked fantastic.
Yeah, it looked great until he said that was photo etch, and I'm like, yeah, that'll be staying in the box. So glad Chris built that one.
Yeah. The thing is, like, Paul's actually looked better than Chris's. I hate to say it, but it did.
It really did look stunning.
He knows I'm only joking. The one thing that gets me with those the photo etch spokes on that patent motor wagon is that you don't just cut them out and stick them on the wheel.
No.
Because you cut them out and they're just like that. They're like regular spokes. When you put them on the wheel, you have to bend them like that because they're not. Yeah,
you got to lace it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not 90 degrees. They're sticking out like that from the centre, like that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah. No. That's. I'd want to curl up in a ball and die, mate.
Yeah. So that was a really nice job on that patent motor wagon.
Perfect, mate. He really done a perfect job on that.
I'm really hungry.
Oh.
We went for Mama Fox's checkup on Monday and stuff, various things, medical stuff. Yeah. We saw the diet lady who went through.
Oh, right, yeah.
Went through basically everything that we eat and stuff, and what do you eat and how's your appetite and blah blah. It's, right, okay, well here's some recommendations. For your diet. keep your kidney healthy, because you only got one kidney. Keep your kidney healthy.
Yeah.
So what have we eaten all this week?
Takeaway.
Takeaway.
Good man.
Yeah. It's really bad, but it's like so much washing up to do, and by the time Mama Fox's appetite's hit her, because she goes for a snooze, it's like 8 o'clock. I'm like,
yeah,
I hate cooking and Chinese.
Yeah.
I'm not really helping, so I need to get out of that now.
Yeah, bless her.
But it's like, what do you want for dinner?
You're going to have to bribe her then, aren't you? Because it's going to be, look, you either start eating decent stuff and foregoing a afternoon nap, because, you know. Yeah.
Well, it's difficult because I'll say to her, what do you want for your dinner? And she'll be like, curry rice and chips. And I'm like, I look at the washing up and go, yeah, I can do that.
Yes.
There's so much washing. I just leave it for days until there's like no plates left. I'm like, right, I better go and do the washing up now. I don't leave food lying around. I'm not disgusting, but I just I leave all the plates and cutlery piled up until I get around to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a good man.
Yeah, but it's, you know,
I was never a student.
routine at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, we're lucky we've got the dishwasher, so, you know, but I actually like all of the emptying and filling up the dishwasher and doing a bit of hoovering and cleaning oven racks.
You like your housework, don't you?
Yeah, I love all of that. It's weird, isn't it?
It always surprises me how quick the hoovering actually is in this house. Because obviously, like, Mama Fox used to do it all till she wasn't able to do it anymore. Now it's I do everything because she can't do any of that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was always like, even when I was in my 30s, I was an 18-year-old, so I'm not going to do the hoovering.
Yeah.
So, but it surprises me now on the once or twice a year I do the hoovering because I'm rubbish. I'm like, do the hoovering. Oh, it's done. Okay. That was fast. That either means it's not that bad or I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah, but I don't mind, you know, I don't know, I'd like to say something right. I mean, my missus often goes, you're not right. She says, no one enjoys cleaning oven racks. And I'm there and I'm beavering away quite happily.
Oh, God, that's the point. I've got the grill tray in the oven to clean. I don't even know how you clean a grill tray. It's like, it's got months of just gunk in the bottom, and I'm like, oh, from all the things I've grilled, and it's like, I don't even know how you clean this crap out. What? Stop locking the kettle.
I mix up a bit of baking soda with white vinegar, mate.
Could do that.
On with the marigolds. Oh, mate, I'm well in heaven.
You're weird, you are.
I am.
Lynn says, I'm on my phone, so I'm not going to hang around long. I'm not connected to power. Ooh, yeah, don't be using up all your data stuff.
No worries, Lynn.
Jeff Light says, roast chicken, roast teddies, broccoli, green beans, honey roast carrots, sage onion stuffing, followed by a nice slice of fruitcake and custard, all washed down by 2 glasses of white wine.
Oh, nice.
Well, we wanted detail. And then he says, hick. Looking good,
sounds plausible.
says Lynn. I'm watching on her big telly, she says, Lynn, now. Okay. Paul Lewis says, oh, stop, you're making me blush. He loves it, really. When he says stop,
of course he does.
Oh, stop, please, don't stop.
Yeah, please carry on.
And Linda will be right back. She's just hanging the laundry. So, where are we up to? Almost finished the butt. And I've almost used all the paint that I put on the palette earlier on. Almost.
Oh, you're good.
Not quite.
Yeah, but in it's really therapeutic.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's weird, right? But we've had a right good natter on this stream. Normally, we don't get to talk about it too much because we're doing different things, but we've had a right good constant natter on the stream so far today. As usual, chat's been absolutely useless at giving us anything to talk about.
Yeah, they're as good at doing that as we are as reading it.
I mean, I will say, chat, you've never failed to completely fail to give us content to talk about.
You know, that is.
But you never do.
That's payback for our own ineptitude, mate. I'm sorry, but
they're like,
you know.
yeah, we're not going to do your work for you.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, come on, we know what you two are doing. Getting us. That's like a singer at a concert holding the microphone out and going, sing it. No, I've paid my ticket money for you to sing it.
Yeah.
I steadfastly refuse to sing songs on lyrics to your music.
I've heard you
paid
sing.
my money. Yeah. Yeah, it's not good, is it?
It's something.
It really isn't, honestly.
How is my singing? Well, not singing.
Yeah. He tried to get me to do beatbox the other night, and it went really badly for him.
It went all
didn't
right.
it,
You
mate?
just didn't engage with it. You just abandoned it straight away.
My stubborn heels were dug in.
Go
I
on.
am not doing it.
Give me a bass drum.
Boom.
Give me a bass drum. Give me a proper bass drum, you tart.
That's all you're getting.
Boom. Nobody goes boom.
Oof. There you go.
That's a nice slack bass drum. I like that.
There
That's
you go.
that's the kind of drum kit where you've got like a real echoey room and the drums are all loose. That kind of thing.
Yeah, he's off again. He's off again, Paul. Stop him. Stop him. Come on.
Steady now.
Oh,
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Sounded like somebody struggling with a wonky leg, but it was good. The rhythm.
Yeah, that was someone carrying a drum kit up the stairs, bumping
Yeah.
it on the staircase. Could just imagine me being a one-man band. It'd be, there you go, folks. That's it. Hats on the floor.
One man band, one instrument band. It's a kazoo. What? Deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, you just have a kazoo, but every instrument will be a kazoo.
Yeah. It'd be like, yeah, there you go. I've done that. Did it once. You mean to say you want me to do it the drum twice? What do you think this is?
I'm off camera, aren't I? Yes, probably.
It says talk, talk, chat, yakety yak, talk and close. Absolutely.
Yakety yak. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that was actually good. I'm impressed with that.
I can't do too much of it because copyright, but
Yeah, copyright. Yeah, the Benny Hill music.
yakety sax. The irony is, it wasn't actually written for that. It was just written as I think it was written as library music. So many
It was
tunes,
something else, wasn't it?
so many tunes that we associate with a specific thing were just written as generic library music, and yet, and they just instantly became like most 1970s and 80s sport programs on the UK on British TV were just bits of library music.
Yeah.
Apart from like
Either sped up or slowed down to suit, wouldn't they?
yeah, well, apart from like Grandstand and World of Sport because they were written for them.
Yeah.
But other than that, things like the racing and they're just generic pieces of library music.
I can still see the World of Sport with the two aeroplanes, World of Sport, dragging the things, and then the build-up with the music. Yeah. Yeah.
Guess who wrote that? Of course it was. It was Keith Mansfield. Of course it was.
Yeah.
Everything was written by
Grandstand,
Keith
wasn't it?
Mansfield. Oh no, World of Sport was the World of Sport.
Yeah.
That was bad. That was always,
That's the one.
that for
Yeah.
some reason that
Oh,
always reminds me of Andy Stewart's Hogmanay. I don't know
always
why.
reminded me of the theme for Black Beauty for some reason. Don't know why.
It sounds really Scottish to me. I think it's because of the high flute.
Yeah.
It sounds very Scottish. I don't quite know why.
Dickie Davies with that really weird bit of grey hair that used to change sides on a regular basis.
That's called a moustache.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean that? Oh, it is.
Yeah, that little tuft of grey hair, and every now and then it would be on the right side, then it was on the left, then it was on the right. So,
Yeah, but they knew what they were doing getting Dickie Davies on because he was the bit of flavour for the housewives who didn't really want to watch sport when the husbands were watching the sport.
yeah, he was the lady's bit of jaunty crumpet, wasn't he? I mean, it's like,
So
really.
it's like if we're gonna, the husband's gonna be there watching the sport all Saturday afternoon. Let's give the
Yeah.
ladies something reason to watch as well, so the
Yeah,
husband can watch.
Old dapper Dickie.
Yeah, you can't watch a sport all day.
Always so well dressed, wasn't he?
Oh yeah. But I wonder if that was a deliberate thing by them to.
Yeah.
Because then the wives
What
would be like,
used
"You're
to
not
make
watching
me
Grandstand,
laugh
you watch World
is
of
the
Sport."
people in the background that desperately tried to look like they was working.
Oh yeah. My favourite bit was the teletype.
Yeah.
Score draws
Yeah.
and the teletype.
Football results are coming in.
Yeah, the little animated cursor going.
Yeah. On the vidi printer.
Vidi printer, that was it.
Yeah. 4-5, 4-5-4.
Yeah. It used to make me laugh as well on the. I think it was World of Sport. The guy that used to do the score draws, he was always like, when everybody got nil, he'd be like,
Yeah.
West Bromwich Albion 3, Stoke 0.
Yeah.
And he put loads of emphasis in it, like East Far 5, 4-4-4.
He was a bit like Christopher Walken, wasn't it? You
Yeah.
know, Christopher
Yeah,
Walken. Christopher Walken reading the footy results.
Oh
How
God!
cool would that be?
Manchester United 5, West Bromwich Albion 5-4. Yeah, that's not a very good Christopher Walken, I know, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
It's better than what you've got without me, which is no Christopher Walken at all.
I can always remember the wibbles my granddad used to throw if the pause panel had done the result.
Oh, yeah.
Game postponed, the pause panel have awarded. Oh, mate, if it went against what he had on his coupon, he'd be battering the telly with his paper. Which was annoying for me because I'd have me granddad stood astride me in just these boxers beating the shit out the telly because I had to lay on the floor because that finger there was the remote. That one.
Oh, yeah.
So you would turn the sport on, boof, boof, push the button. You stayed there. That was you for the day. That was your job. You're the remote. So when he was beating the shite out the telly, it's like, Grandad, what? Should have worn your long johns, mate. Just saying.
Yeah. God, do you remember TVs with actual push buttons?
Oh, yeah, and it wasn't
Like
the little tiny ones.
There were little cylindrical silver buttons, Thomas.
Yeah, with the silver bit, with the black ribbed outline. It was like... and it would go.
And the other one would go pching as you pushed it in.
Yeah. You used to think it was going to fire out at you like some kind of weird missile.
Yeah. I remember when we got our first ever remote control. It was like, wow!
Can you remember the routine? Best let the telly warm up.
Yeah.
Before, and you'd hold the back of your hand on the screen waiting for the air on your hands to stand on end. Yeah, you can put it on now. It's like,
I remember in the days of tube TVs, I remember...
CRTs, yeah.
Yeah, I remember... I must have been particularly... I think I just had very, very good hearing because I would know... If I was upstairs, I would know when somebody turned the TV on.
Oh, would you hear the hum, would you?
Well, no, I don't know what it was because it wasn't it wasn't something I would specifically hear. In reality, it was I could probably just about subconsciously hear a very high frequency whine, but in my mind, I could feel when somebody turned the TV on. There was just, I can't put it into words, but I was like, oh, somebody's put the TV on. I could just feel some sort of change in my ear, in something.
Was you picking up the static, perhaps?
I don't know, not from that.
The radio frequency, perhaps, of the signal?
I don't know. It wasn't so much that I heard it, because I couldn't necessarily hear anything. I just felt that the TV was on.
Yeah.
It probably was just subconsciously.
Because don't forget, back then we had the communal aerials, didn't we, as well? So it could have been the frequency he was picking up, the radio waves.
Could be. It probably was just like something that was almost beyond my hearing, but not quite. But I wasn't consciously aware that I was actually hearing it.
What you needed to do was make yourself a nice foil hat.
Oh yeah. It was more like it was more like I felt something, almost like, you can feel a very slight pressure difference. It was like that.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like a sound.
I can always remember the voice at the end of the night telling you to turn your TVs off, your TV set off, and remember, make sure you pull the plug from the wall.
I used to I was a big fan of, because my dad worked at Granada. When I was able to stay up till midnight, I always used to I had a little TV in my bedroom. I would always stay up till midnight. I wouldn't watch TV, but just before midnight, I'd turn the telly on so I could listen to the actual close down music on Granada.
Yeah.
Which in those days, in the early 80s, was another Keith Mansfield piece called New Granada Theme, which is my favourite piece of music ever. Yeah. Always makes me think of my dad. But I've spent many years trying to find out who owns the rights to it so I can use it on my live streams.
Yeah.
And I found out eventually it's apparently with Sony now, the rights.
Right, yeah, Sony Corporation, yeah.
And I was it's with Sony BMG, so it's like the music division. And I was in conversation with some people at Sony, but then it kind of, COVID happened, and then the conversations filtered out. So I never got round to finding out if I could somehow license it.
I'm sure if you get back in touch with them, I think they would be quite accommodating, mate, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they probably want lots of money. I was kind of hoping they'd do it for free, really, but it's kind of like saying, nobody's ever going to use it again. It was used for it was written for one purpose and has never been used ever again since. Can I just have it for free, thanks? I don't think they would.
You never know. You don't know until you ask, dear. Yeah. Isn't that what you always say?
Yes. Oh, I've asked. Trust me, I've asked many times. I spent many years just trying to find out who had the rights. I started off just going through ITV, PLC, and then...
Yeah.
And in all that time, I never found out how to actually contact Keith Mansfield, so...
Jacqueline says, it wasn't because your ponytail used to stand up with all the static. Yeah, there you go.
I was young. Do you know?
Yeah.
I was a lot younger
Well
in
said,
the days of
Jackie.
CRTs. Not that old.
Yeah. We used to have the British Relay TV before it went to radio rentals, and it was push the button in for the radio, and you would push it again so that it popped out so the TV would come on. And my mum then had one that had the big meter on the side that you used to put the
Oh, yeah.
2 bob coins into. Yeah.
When you play, if you ever get round to playing Fallout, did you say you bought Fallout 4?
I've got Fallout 4 on Steam, mate.
Oh, yeah. Did it come with Fallout 3?
I don't know, mate. I can't remember.
Because I think I got Fallout 4 and it came with Fallout 3. Anyway, if you ever get around to playing Fallout 3, and it might even be in Fallout 4, occasionally you'll come across like a computer terminal, but it'll be set with a bomb, a booby trap, like a explosive thing on the side of it.
Yeah.
They look exactly like the old coin meters on TVs.
Oh, really?
Every time I'm like, oh, it's a coin meter. My mate used to have one of them.
I can always remember my mum with the TV on upside down.
Yep.
With a bone handle knife in the slot, trying to get some 10p's out so that she could flick them through the,
Gas meter.
Because back then the old 2 bobs were the same size as a 10 pence, because it was the big old florin size, wasn't it?
Yep.
Of course, we're getting all our currency changed soon, starting with the 50p piece.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, got all of that to put up with.
Although, I'll be perfectly honest, we're probably still going to have the Queen on our coins for another 10 or 15 years before they'll get...
Well, I can remember as a kid having coins. I've still got some in a Bell's whiskey bottle in the lounge that have still got King George on them.
Yeah, you used to get, like, threepenny bits and stuff and all kinds of... You get, like, sixpences that were counted as 5p's and stuff.
Well, we had the decimalisation thing, didn't we? So we still had a lot of coinage in from the old pounds, shillings and pence stage as kids. So we had all of that.
Well, I was reading the thing today, and the mint was saying basically, typically coins tend to last between like 15 and 25 years.
Yes.
And they said, so we're obviously minting the new ones now, but the old ones are still going to be in circulation until they're just no longer usable. So that's going to be another 10 or 15 years. So.
Oh, yeah, it's not going to be a quick thing.
Yeah, they said we're not going to suddenly withdraw all the coinage because there's no point. We haven't got anything to replace it with yet. So.
No, that's it.
They'll just wait till they'll just change.
It's the same with all the notes. Any new notes will be printed with old Wasbomb ears, and as polymer notes get replaced, they'll just come out with his image on. So any that have got the Queen on that are too badly damaged, they'll just replace with him. So
for all you know, we might be on another royal by the time the Queen's coins stop getting used. Might be on a third. A different person altogether by then. Who knows?
Exactly. I mean, it took years. I mean, I was... It's only when they changed the size of the old 5 pence and 10 pence that the ones with the king on got taken out of circulation.
Because they were no longer legal tender. So.
The old single bob and 2 bob bit, they was all taken out.
Yeah, but the coins are still the same, aren't they? So these ones will be in circulation.
And then they changed the 10 bob, the 50p, didn't they?
Yep.
Shrunk that down, so then that was it. All the ones with the king on went out of circulation. But up until then, and we're talking early 80s, so we'd already been dead 30 years.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, they're not gonna change the actual coins now because the cost of changing anything that uses coins, like any machine that has a coin slot, the cost of changing that across every device in the country is just not even worth it.
As long as it weighs the same, it'll register. But the problem is the weight of them ears is going to double the weight of the coin, isn't it?
It's got twice as much metal.
See what I did there?
I see what you did there. Right, you.
Yes.
I think we'll leave it there because I've just finished doing the back.
All right, yeah. No worries,
I finished doing my back. I need to go for a great big wee, and it's almost. We've got about half an hour, but we'll leave it there. So let's have a quick look and see where we've got up to.
Happy days.
Do mine quickly. So I've painted this side. Done the brown chips and the grey chips, you get a good idea of it there. We've got the front bit done. It looks terrible. I've got the top bit done.
Yeah, I like that.
And you notice how I've gone carefully. I've done more chips at the bottom, and as I work my way up to the top, I'll be less. So when I get to the turret, there'll be even less chips because it's less things banging into stuff. Not done the bottom. I'm not going to bother with that too much, but I will do inside here on the inside of the track units because they get rusted. I've not done the turret, and I've not done that side yet. But that's where. So we'll be carrying on with these chips next week, and then into something else. Let's have a look at yours, then, fella.
There you go. Similar thing. Done the sides. Done the front. Bit on the decal. around the sponson, or the front turret.
You're a turret.
On the hatch there. Same on the other side. Underneath.
Looking rather fabulous.
Round his Harris. Again, less on the rear because stuff's gone clumpity clump underneath.
Yeah, so you're putting a story to it. How you getting on with the tiny? Have you done some of your turret?
Yeah, I've done some of my turret. I've done a bit of clambering where geezers have been jumping across and getting in and out. Little bit on his Harris there and round the side. Some on the edge of the spotlight there.
Yep.
Little dots and ramblings. In answer to your question, yeah, there's some dottage in there.
Good lad.
Some there, but don't forget we got the stripe to do yet.
Yeah,
so I don't want to go too mad. Also got some little ones in there and on the door up there, but again, more along the bottom and where the wheels have been grinding around, especially on these inside edges going up here and all. I've done quite a bit.
And in places, where water would pool up and collect, because that will make the paint flake off and you get rust.
Bit of rust on the front there where things have been fired and they might have been climbing up across the mantle there. And so
lovely.
It's different.
How are you finding painting tiny molecule dots with your shakety hands? Are you getting by?
I find if I relax, I let the shakes do their thing.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
To be quite honest with you, it comes in quite handy because you get a little bit of randomness.
Exactly.
Because it's like a woodpecker. It's the best way to describe it. You go tappity tap around things, and it's like actually I could use that to my advantage. Yeah. So
if you don't have shakes, you can get a similar effect by holding the brush towards the end when you do it. It's when you're doing the inside chips like the brown ones, you've got to try and be a bit more careful, so it's less useful. But if you're doing the initial highlight chips, if you haven't got a piece of sponge. You can do that to get your initial chips.
Especially if you want to do machine gun fire across something. You get that randomness. You know?
But the sponge is great for you, though, because the sponge makes everything easier.
Oh, yeah, especially if it's really bad, But no, the shakes do come in. They do have their uses. The other night when I was doing some of these, it was, the shakes were playing me up, but it came in really handy because,
And that's the thing. That's the use of it, and it's also good to. That's why it's also good to, because it's actually relaxing to do. You can take your time with it.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it and you find your shakes kicking, you can just stop or just go even slower.
Yeah.
I like doing chipping. I like doing.
Absolutely.
There are times when I'm feeling particularly masochistic when that initial thing we did with the sponge, I'll actually brush paint the initial highlight chips as well.
Oh, really?
That can take you several days to do all the chipping, but. I might move away from that because I've not often I've never really quite liked sponge chipping, but I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
I was always a bit sucky at it, but now I've been practicing it.
It seems to have worked on these, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I used to literally do the highlight chips by brush when I did my Bane blades. That was brush painting all the chips, and that took forever. But I'm getting better at sponge
blimey,
chipping.
yeah.
I'm getting better at sponge chipping now. So.
Could you imagine brush chipping the Bane blade, the insane blade?
Well. When I did the last two, I didn't. I think I sponge chipped the main highlight, but I had to brush chip the inner brown bits.
Yeah.
That took a while.
Yeah. A Bane blade's a lot of real estate, isn't it?
You could tell where I started and where I finished, because where I started was all tiny, finite, little tiny brown chips, and when I finished, it was that with the brush. It's brown, whatever. Brown.
Yeah, it's like, can I have one there?
Big fat brown marks. Yeah. So, but it's all part of the weathering.
Exactly.
But I think that'll do us. So we'll leave it there. We'll finish off the brown chipping next week, and then next week possibly we will. Don't know. We could do the stripe, I suppose. We need to get that stripe done.
Yeah, that'll let us then decide what other weathering we can do, and then quarters, then, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, we need to do the stripe and then the chipping that goes with that stripe, because that'll be done. That will all be done by brush. We can't use a sponge on that because it's too much like tight quarters.
Okay.
So, unless we just paint the whole front with the edge there, and then we can just put a little bit of masking tape along there, and that might work better, because I know you like using the sponge, at least for one layer. So, then again, it's two different colours. No, you can't use a sponge. It's too tight quarters. We'll figure it out next week.
We'll figure it out next week, mate.
Assuming I finish the chipping, because I've still got to do my turret yet and my weapons. So.
No, that's all right. I mean, I've still got bits and pieces that I can go back and just redress. So,
Yeah. And that's the other thing as well. If you go wrong with your brown chip, with your inside chip, if you think of it as an outside chip and an inside chip, if you go wrong with it at all, if you say you're doing your brown chips and you go wrong anywhere, you can just go back with the highlight colour and just add on some chips around the edge of it, and you can.
That's all I did earlier. I just got the Celestra grey back out and just added some more.
Yeah. If you've got a big brown chip that's too big, just paint a grey edge around it and put a line through the middle and make it like two separate chips that have touched together. Yeah. So lots of fun you can have.
Exactly.
And if it goes really wrong, just get a real hot soldering iron and go bing, massive bullet hole. There you go.
That normally works. And like I say, we haven't had to break out a Dremel yet, so we must be doing something right.
Yes. And if you want the really easiest paint job, just paint it like a Russian tank. It's only three brown colours stippled over the whole thing, and there you go, done. You see what I did there?
I am impressed with what you did.
Russian tank, rust. Moving on. Anyway.
Rust, yeah. Would that be a Leman Russ?
In fact, I would suggest if you're looking at weathering, if you're looking for weathering inspiration, do pay close attention to all the news reports coming out of Ukraine. Because you're seeing a lot of military hardware in various states of disrepair and destruction that involves rust, chipping, scorch marks, burning. It sounds really. I feel a bit bad saying it, but watch the news articles and things. Yeah,
there's a lot of Google imagery out there of the Ukrainian conflict at the moment. But if you're a weatherer, you can't find better weathering detail than them images.
No, exactly. And the other thing, of course, is I've often seen things where somebody's painted a vehicle and it's all rusted to hell, and people are saying, it wouldn't be that rusty really. It takes months and months, and then you see like Russian tanks from the second week of the invasion, and they're just orange, and it's like that's how quick things rust when they're on fire and all the paint goes away. They just rust like in a day.
Yeah. Exactly, especially with that climate over there as well. It's like, that's as rotten as a pear, mate.
So there's a lot of good material to be had. There's a lot of other reasons to watch that footage, but of course, one of them is just while you're there, look at all the damage and weathering.
Absolutely.
Anyway, that's going to do us. So everyone, thank you very, very much for watching. Love the fact that you've come along and watched. Thank you for my super chat. That's very nice of you. Don't forget, of course, if you'd like to support these channels, you can support my channel by going to patreon.com/modelmakingguru and becoming a patron, or you can go become a member by pressing the join button underneath any of my videos, and you can support the channel. Keep the lights on, literally put food on my table. Big hugs to you. You can do the same on Colin's channel.
Patreon.com/Festa67's workshop, or you can become a member of my channel by clicking the join button below any of my video content. Doing so will give you access to the Zoom 24/7 off-air hangout, folks.
Give you access to free porn. It won't give you access to free porn, but I wish it did.
No.
But no, it'll give you access to the live 24/7 Zoom hangout. If you are already a patron or channel member and you're not a member of the Zoom hangout, then make sure to go and check on Patreon or on Messenger. If you're not Messenger, if you're one of my patrons, you can go to my Patreon page. It's pinned at the top of my Patreon page. How to join. If you're a channel member, well, there is a post on the community tab.
Mine's in the communities tab where you've got it. And,
I don't know how you actually find that though. There's no way to actually find that.
We've both got links in our video descriptions that say that's where you go.
That's what I meant to say. That's the thing I should have said, isn't it?
Yeah, we've both got clickable links in our video description. Click the YouTube one, it takes you to the YouTube members area that you'll be a member of. That shows you the code you need. Likewise, for the same for Patreon.
That's the entire thing I should have said, rather than all the other crap I just said, which was completely pointless.
Yeah, that's because your belly's rumbling, you're hungry.
Yeah, I'm thinking about foods now. So so do consider becoming a patron of channel. And don't forget, if you're not in that group, and if you do want to join the 24/7 hangout and you go through those links, don't forget, of course, to follow the instructions to send Colin an email so he can add you to the 24/7 Zoom hangout Facebook chat group as well.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
That's going to do us. Colin, as always, thank you very much for your esteemed co-hostedness on this stream.
Always my pleasure, mate. You know that.
Absolutely. Don't ever want to go back to doing solo streams again because they suck.
Yeah, and we're both looking forward to playing so that we can start doing the full HD stuff.
Yeah, that'll hopefully be soon. And don't forget, folks, I've got to press some buttons, but until next time, we will both be back. There's no e-model stream this week, I don't think, because it's a week off.
Week off this week, mate.
But whether one of us decides to do something, well, there you go, you never know. I'll be back on If not before then, I'll be back on Friday for the Friday Frolic with Colin on his channel. I'll be back on Saturday with some more Cyberpunk. I'll be back on Friday afternoon with some more Red Dead Redemption, possibly, or I might play something else. I don't know yet. And then I'll be back on next Sunday for Warhammer Sunday. What's your plan, buddy?
Hopefully Wednesday, be doing a E-Model stream over on their channel, the Wednesday Workbench, where I'll have me wood and barrels out and all of that lot, and do some more work on the truck.
Yep.
Friday will be a frolic with you, and Sunday will be the Sunday at the bench with Dave, and then Warhammer Sunday, mate. All been well, and my broadband been well, I should, in theory, be able to get into prime time this Tuesday as well, so keep an eye out for that, folks.
Lynn Dipple says, I found my PS4, it was in a packing box. Then get playing all the games.
Yeah.
All the games, Lynn. Play them all. Play them all. Play them all now. Do it now. Do it now. Have you done it yet?
Have you connected it up yet, Lynn?
Yeah. Anyway, that's going to do us. So thank you very much. Apologies for the glitch at the start. I'll go and shout at someone. Take care of yourselves. Yes, it's Ted's fault. Go make something awesome. Go be awesome. And I'm sure I've forgotten something. But until next time.
Adios, amoebas.
Oh, you bugger.